gentlemen, welcome to Ariel Helwani's MMA Show!
Back in your life on this Monday, April 1st, 2019. Hello, everyone. I'm Ariel Helwani. Welcome back to the show. And if I'm being honest, I'm in a bit of a sour mood on this afternoon because it is April 1st. And April 1st is my least favorite day of the year. Why is it my least favorite day of the year? Because everyone uses this day to lie. I'm not a liar. I don't like lying. I don't like practical jokes. I don't like any of those things. And especially when you consider the fact that I'm a bit of a news stickler, if you will, that one of my idols was the late, great Walter Cronkite, who is the most trusted man in America. I, as a respected journalist, would never betray your trust. So I don't understand all these people who come out on April 1st and betray your trust and make up lies about the career, make up false news stories. This isn't the way to go. This isn't the way to be. And so it's very frustrating when you're trying to find... And my son this morning said to me, Dad, guess what? I didn't do my homework. I didn't finish it. I still have more to do this morning. I said, what? I asked you last night. Are you serious? He said, April Fools. 6 years old, and he got me with April Fools. No good. So I'm just hoping that this day... I've seen some stuff pop up, and I'm still doing the due diligence, but I don't like it. I just don't think it's funny. In French, they call it Poisson d'Avril. My mom used to get me with this all the time. Poisson d'Avril. I don't even understand what that means. Poisson d'Avril, it means in English, April fish. And so I guess maybe the person who falls for these things is a fish. I don't know. I don't know why they call it that. But Poisson d'Avril, April Fools, all those things and more, you could get right out of here. Go home. I want nothing to do with you. I can't wait for April 2nd. But alas, we are here on April 1st. And guess what? We have a lot to talk about. A lot has happened since we last spoke. Remember last week when we spoke to Uriah Faber and he said that he was considering a comeback, and Jacare laid down the hammer saying that if he didn't get a title shot after beating Yoel Romero, he would walk away. Remember all that stuff? And then like 3 hours later, it was all old news. It was all irrelevant because Conor McGregor came out very late Monday, early Tuesday, sent out the tweet. Everyone went crazy. I'm retired. I'm out of here. And so 6 days later, obviously a lot has changed. And you've seen more tweets from him. It's very clear that he doesn't want to retire. Conor McGregor wants to fight again. He wanted to fight in July. I think the ship has sailed on that one. I think October, November is probably more likely at this point if they can figure things out. But things just aren't going well. Last time when he retired 3 years ago, it was about, not going to that press conference in Vegas after he witnessed his friend Charlie Ward fighting the fight and the opponent, Joao Carvalho, ended up dying a few days later. He didn't want to go to Vegas and promote a fight after just witnessing that. It really bothered him. This time around, it's about the opponent. It's about the date. It's about the pay-per-view points. It's about the new pay-per-view structure, all those things and more. And honestly, and we'll talk about this on the TV show tomorrow that you can catch on ESPN2 and ESPN News at midnight, I think, this week. There are a lot of other similarities to what happened in April of 2016 in the sense that you'll recall that press conference that happened in Vegas prior to UFC 197 when Nate walked out and there was the empty chair sitting next to Dana White. You remember that? And Nate essentially turned the tables on the UFC and said, I'm only fighting Conor when they wanted him to kind of side with the establishment. I think that would probably be what the doctor ordered this time around. I think Conor McGregor was annoyed that Nate came out on Monday around this time last week and said, I don't want that fight against Conor. I want the Khabib fight. I think he was annoyed when Dana did some interviews and said, we're not doing the trilogy fight. I think he wants to get his way, whether that's good or bad. And I think that all led to him saying, you know what, I'm out of here. I'm just going to focus on my whiskey business. And then, of course, several hours later, the New York Times comes out with this story that Conor was arrested in January and has been accused of sexual assault. If I wasn't so naive, I would think that maybe someone put that story out there once and for all because it had been percolating online to maybe bury the retirement stuff. I don't think the retirement story had anything to do with that one, but that one is still ongoing. Obviously a very, very, very serious allegation, and that could seriously derail his career and would put all this talk of a potential comeback and reconciling with the UFC on ice, obviously. But it is still developing. He has not been charged with anything, which is important to note, and we don't know how that's going to play out. We don't know how the Miami situation is going to play out. So there's a lot going on there. There's a lot that will play out at some point, and we'll get at least some kind of clarity as to what his fighting future is. But a week later, it's still very much up in the air. I don't think we have seen the last of him. I do feel like he wants to stick to his guns this time, but I also think that if he can figure it out with the UFC, that he would fight again. I know that sounds a little contradictory, but it's somewhat of a very complex situation. So we had that situation play out last week. Of course, we had the Philadelphia event on Saturday, which was an event that I thought started a little slow, but ended very well. The main card was very fun, in particular the Justin Gaethje fight. He ends up knocking out Edson Barbosa in the first round. And again, we see a little more relaxed Justin Gaethje, a Justin Gaethje who I thought was picking his shots, showed some patience, showed some maturity. Yes, he's active, he's moving forward. Yes, he's aggressive, but it's not the same kind of aggression that we've seen from him in the past. And I think Dominic Cruz brought up some great points in our post-fight wrap-up with Brett. He's a little more calculated when he's out there, and you saw the great finish against Edson Barbosa. So now we wonder what's next for him. Is it Anthony Pettis? Is it someone else? Also on that card, Jack Hermanson with a great submission against David Branch. Also on that card, Michelle Waterson wins 3 in a row, and now she's talking title shot. Josh Emmett with a huge win against Michael Johnson. What a great knockout that was after everything that he's been through over the past year plus. What a great win. What a great performance. What a great story. Desmond Green with a nice win. Marina Rodriguez with a very nice performance in her debut. Kevin Holland. Ray Borg ended up suffering a defeat, but just good to see him back. I know he felt that he was robbed. So there was some good stuff there. Paul Craig with the last-second victory. Sadiq Youssef, who called out Kron Gracie. So a lot to like there. And then Sunday morning, holy smokes, one championship with their biggest event ever. Demetrius Johnson gets rocked early, but then ends up winning in his debut. Eddie Alvarez loses in his debut. Who saw this coming? They're paying Eddie a lot of money. And it seems like this always seems to happen. Someone leaves the UFC, you know, they take a better offer perhaps, and then they don't look as good in their debut. And I think there's a lot to the new surroundings, to a little more pressure. You know, we saw with guys like Benson Henderson go over to another organization like Bellator. In this case, it's Eddie Alvarez. Even Demetrius early on didn't look like Demetrius Johnson. So strange how that works out. Angela Lee also lost. That was a really fun card, a really stacked card as far as one championship is concerned. I just wish that they would stop, if I could just say this. One has a really great product, and they have great fighters. I mean, you saw right there, like this idea that the one fighters can't hang with the quote-unquote UFC fighters. Timofey Nastyukhin, I mean, these are solid fighters. They are solid fighters. Timofey, by the way, the man who defeated Eddie Alvarez. But can we stop with like the 4 trillion people are watching this event, and this is the greatest event in martial arts history, and this is the biggest fight in like, can we just stop with all that? Why does everything have to be so over the top? There's a great product there. In some respects, you can make the argument that they're more of a threat these days to the UFC than Bellator is. Just stop with all the hyperbole. It's unnecessary. Not everyone who has a TV in all these countries is actually watching your fight. That's not how it works. So it wasn't seen by 4 gazillion people. It's fine. You're growing. You're less than 10 years old. It's okay. Other things of note, UFC 239 now has 2 title fights. John Jones against Thiago Santos. Jones teased us a little bit, saying that he was going to, or at least considering fighting Stipe Miocic. In the end, that was never really a thing. It was always going to be Thiago Santos. I maintain John doesn't really want to fight at heavyweight. When I brought it up 2 weeks ago in Ariel and Bad Guy, I was talking about it from a Stipe perspective, but from a John perspective, he's cutting weight too easily these days. It's too easy for him to get to 205, so it's not going to happen. I don't think anytime soon, especially with Rockhold coming up and some of the other new faces at 205. Also on that card, Holly Holm against Amanda Nunes for the bantamweight title, the women's bantamweight title. And as I reported late Friday, Francis Ngannou versus JDS has been added to that card. I want to explain the Ben Askren, Jorge Masvidal situation because I think a lot of people may have misinterpreted my report. UFC wants Ben Askren versus Masvidal. UFC wants that fight for June 8th because that card is a little thin right now. That's the Chicago card. And by the way, Moraes versus Cejudo still not 100%. I don't know why they put that announcement out there. It's still not signed, but that's a different story for later. Anyway, Masvidal, Askren. Masvidal doesn't want to fight June 8th. Can't fight on that day. Doesn't want to fight on that date. Would rather fight International Fight Week. July 6th, Las Vegas. So he came back and said, okay, I will fight Ben Askren, but I want it to be on July 6th. And Ben Askren said yes. UFC has yet to say yes. They want it on the June 8th. So that's the tug and pull here, okay? That's the tug and pull. So I see people saying that like it's a done deal for July 6th. It's not a done deal for July 6th just yet. There's a bit of a negotiation process going on here. So that fight is up in the air. The other ones are not. Tyron Woodley versus Robbie Lawler 2 is happening in Minnesota at the end of June. And that is a rematch of a fight that happened at UFC 201. Mike Perry against Cowboy Oliveira added to the April 27th card in Sunrise, Florida. Tai Tuivasa against Blagoy Ivanov added to UFC 238 in Chicago. Also, Gegard Mousasi against Rafael Lovato on June 22nd. All those things happen as I knock over my thing. All right, so that's the week that was. Now let's get into today's show because there's a lot to get to. As I see Corporate Jack wrote to me over here. All right. All right. Here's today's lineup. In a matter of moments, we're going to be joined by, hopefully, Michelle Waterson, the karate hottie. There they are. Look at all those faces. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. Artem Lobov is going to join us at 3:45. The GOAT, he's landing in America in around 40 minutes, hopefully, and he'll be making his bare knuckle FC debut this weekend against one Jason Knight. And then if he wins that fight, it looks like they want to do Artem versus Paulie Malignaggi. How about that? That whole feud will play out in the bare knuckle FC arena. So Artem will join us at 3:45. At around 2:50, we're going to be joined in studio by the War Master, Josh Barnett, who has not fought in 3 years. My old client. I dusted this bad boy off. Remember this from the old studio? Ooh, look at that. I mean, that is just a beaut. Created by my friend Kyle Haas. So nice. Great memories with this one. Anyway, it's been a while since I talked to Josh. And like I said, he hasn't fought since September of 2016. And I do know he wants to fight again. He's also involved in a pro wrestling event this Thursday in Jersey City, New Jersey called Bloodsport. And he's competing against Minoru Suzuki. And so I'm looking forward to having Josh Barnett in studio. That should be fun at 2:50. At 2:35, we're going to be joined by Thug Nasty, Bryce Mitchell. Everyone loves Bryce Mitchell. Is he getting those camo shorts? Is he going to fight in Arkansas? Why does everyone love his accent? All those questions will be answered at 2:35. At 2:20, we're going to be joined by the aforementioned Holly Holm, the preacher's daughter. She is getting a title shot, as I just said, on July 6th against Amanda Nunes in Las Vegas. I'm looking forward to talking to her. What happened to the Aspen Ladd fight? Is this her last crack at a UFC belt? Why did she sign a new 6-fight deal? All those things will be answered at 2:20. At 2 o'clock, we're going to be joined by the aforementioned Tyron Woodley, the former welterweight champion. Sweet AirPods in that pick. How's life been without the belt? How's the last month been for him? What's he up to? Why is he taking this rematch? Were any other fights offered? We'll talk to him about that. 1:40, we'll talk to his teammate, Ben Askren. There he is, Funky. And yes, I know he's been on quite often lately, but there's a lot going on. Now I want to know what's going on with Masvidal. I want to get his response to that video that Masvidal put out in the parking lot of IHOP. Did you see that? It was amazing. It was classic. So I want to get an update from Funky. 1:25, we'll be joined by Josh Emmett. Talk to him about that big win over Michael Johnson this past weekend. I mean, this is a guy who had a broken orbital, who had vertigo, who still can't feel the left side of his mouth, like his gums are completely numb still from all of that, had multiple surgeries, had to have emergency surgery upon getting home from Orlando to Sacramento. He was on the shows last year, and he has just been through so much. And so to win the way in which he did with that knockout was pretty darn impressive. Well done, Josh Emmett. And then in a matter of seconds, I do believe we're going to be joined by Michelle Waterson, the karate hottie. There she is. She is coming off a very impressive win over Karolina Kowalkiewicz on Saturday. 3 in a row for her. It's her first 3-fight winning streak since winning 6 in a row from 2010 to 2014 when she won the Invicta FC Atomweight Championship. And so without further ado, let us say hello to the one and only Karate Hottie, Michelle Waterson, repping that Body Armor brand. How are you, Michelle?
I was pulling my shirt up like, let me get this in there.
Yes. Oh, you got a shill for the ones who support you, right?
Of course, 100%.
How are you doing, Michelle?
I'm good. I tried to put some makeup on to cover this little bruise I got here, but I guess I'm going to rock the one-sided purple mustache.
That's all good. You rock it well. So what is that? Is that a swollen cheek that you have there from the fight?
She caught me good, man. Carolina hits hard.
Wow.
She's really accurate, and the few punches that she did catch me with, they connected. So she got me here. I think it was an uppercut, and then here I got a bit of I think it was a straight right that she caught me with.
Okay.
So yeah.
I noticed on Instagram, congratulations, you just hit 1 million followers. That's a really big deal. Probably a bigger deal than the winning streak itself in this day and age. 1 million followers is a nice little feather in your cap. But I noticed in the caption that you wrote, this past week has been a roller coaster of emotions. Any reason is that like your typical fight week roller coaster of emotions, or did something else happen? Okay, I'm not sure if we hear you now. I think we just lost Michelle's audio there. We're going to reconnect with her. It was all sounding and looking so good. I was even noting that to myself. All right, so we'll reconnect with Michelle here in just a second. Again, first 3-fight winning streak since winning 6 in a row from 2010 to 2014. Is she back? Michelle, you there?
I'm here. I'm
sorry. There you are.
No.
Okay. All good. So I missed your answer to that question.
I just, there's so much nerves that come with fight week. And it's excitement and nervousness. And I just feel like, it was an ESPN coming from being on the undercard of Conor McGregor and Khabib. And I thought this was going to be like a little bit of a smaller fight, less media. I'm not main or co-main, but there ended up being a lot of media on me with the ESPN piece, and then the Destined crew following us, and also a bunch of people asking me about my daughter and Dana White buying all those cookies. So it's actually quite a bit of media, and I just found myself in a place where I was the same time after I beat Paige, and it was like a crossroads. Like this is my chance to get to the next level, and just all of those questions that arise in your mind as far as will I be able to get to that next level.
Are you happy with what you did on Saturday?
I am. I really am. I was able to go in there and be relaxed and allow myself to fight. Obviously, there are things to improve. I wish I were able to get a finish, but once you start fighting these top level girls, it's a game of inches.
So 3 in a row. It's been a while since you've won 3 in a row. It's been 5 years since you've had a streak like this. Obviously, I mean, the wins speak for themselves. You're fighting tough people. Each and every fight, it's a tougher opponent. Is there a particular reason or two? Like, is life less stressful? Are things doing better for you in the gym? Like, how can you explain this 3-fight winning streak now?
I think life is continuously getting more chaotic.
Oh.
This fight camp, I had zero kitchen. We're remodeling the kitchen, so we kitchenless this entire fight camp, and it was my daughter's birthday, and just that's life. And I think what I've learned to do is to deal with the distractions as they come, and really take that as a learning tool for me, and to zero in on what I need to do, and to hone my focus on winning the fights.
So if you don't have a kitchen, where are you having your meals these days? Just curious.
One of my best friends here in Albuquerque does a home delivery. So she's been doing my fight camp meal preps for probably the last 5 years.
Oh.
And so it's Eat Fit Albuquerque, and she preps my meals for me every fight camp. So we have a little fridge here, and a microwave and a little griddle, and we make do.
Okay, and the final tally as far as the cookies are concerned, in the end, first of all, did Dana pay for the cookies?
Dana did pay for the cookies the very next day.
Wow, how much? Could you tell us?
He bought 1,000 cookies,
And what does that
and
cost?
the cookies are anywhere between $4.25 and $5, and the shipping is a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, he spent a good amount of money.
Wow. Was that your idea or her idea?
It was hers, she was a little down because I was in training camp and we did the best we could. Plus she's in school. I didn't want to be the one selling her cookies for her. That's not the reason why they sell the cookies. They
Right.
they have to learn business skills. That's the whole reason why they sell them. So when she wasn't in school, we took her to my gym. We took her to my husband's work, and made her hustle. But she made a really really huge goal in trying to sell 2,000, and that wasn't going to get done with just going door to door and selling locally. So she decided to take advantage of her resources and contact my boss.
Nice. And did she I'm assuming she smashed that goal of hers, right?
Yes. So
Okay.
her goal was 2,000, and she ended up selling 3,000 boxes of cookies. After Dana shared it on his Instagram, she got a lot of traction.
Oh, wow.
And then he sent it over to Tony Robbins,
Oh my gosh.
who contacted us personally, and Tony Robbins bought an extra 1,000,
Oh,
and he decided to donate those cookies to our local food bank. So I got 1,000 boxes of cookies in my garage right now that we're getting ready to take over to the food bank.
wow. That is amazing. Well done to both of you and to everyone involved. That's incredible. So I feel lately, and I notice also on your social media, you're always hashtagging Fight Mom, and you're mentioning, that you want to be the first mom in UFC. This seems to be not a new thing because this has been a part of your story for a long time. Those have been following your career. Of course, there was the documentary that came out a couple of years ago that was phenomenal as well. But it seems like this is now like a real goal that perhaps you feel like you're the closest to achieving the goal, and you really want to make this happen. Is that why you're mentioning this so much these days?
For sure. I just think that it's just being a parent alone
Can I
is.
help you?
Sorry,
Check network settings.
sorry,
Oh,
my fridge is talking to me.
wow. Must be nice.
I feel like being a parent alone is just such a huge job, and it's a hard job. And I don't know, I kind of just want to represent for the parents out there. And like you said, there are other moms in the UFC. I want to be the first. It's cool to say that you're the first at something. So I
Yeah.
want to be the first champion that's a mom. There are champions that are dads, and that's amazing too. I would just want to be the first mom champ, and I think it'd be cool to represent that. And it gives me a motivation when I'm training, and I get stories from people that run into me at the grocery store, and they say they love the message I'm sending to parents, and the message I'm sending to their children, and that it's a family affair, and that we're all in it together.
Do you feel so? I appreciate you shooting your shot, but do you feel in your heart of hearts that you will get a title shot next?
I do, and I feel like at this point, what other reason would I be fighting than if it wasn't for the belt? There's so much sacrifice, time, energy, uh, brain cells
Yes.
put into this sport that if I'm not trying to shoot for the stars, what am I doing? Like, and man, I know I have what it takes. I know I have what it takes to be the champ. So why not? Why not ask for it?
Did you get any feedback from the bosses after the fight about your request? Do you feel like they are on the same wavelength as you?
I haven't gotten any feedback, but I'm sure I will soon.
Okay. Are you hoping that Jessica Andrade wins the fight because that's a fresh matchup? You have the history with Rose. It didn't go your way when you fought her, or do you want her to be champion? Like, is that the perfect scenario where you can avenge that loss and beat the person who last beat you?
hmm I can see it going either way. But I think that it's a great storyline that if I can get a rematch with Rose, and I honestly think it's crazy to me. Is she the underdog in this matchup? It's crazy to me that she is, but
Yeah.
I feel like Rose wins the fight. So we'll see what happens. Maybe I can get out to Brazil and watch that live.
Oh, you'd like that.
Oh yeah, 100%. I've never been to Brazil.
Okay, yeah, well, that would be a good reason. I think the consensus was on Saturday. What about Tatiana Suarez? She seems to be close as well. What is your response
Hmm.
to that?
I feel like I've been in the UFC a lot longer than Tatiana, and the females that I faced are of higher caliber, and so I think I'm more deserving of that shot.
I remember when you first came into the UFC, between your first and second fight, there was like a year plus break in between. You were injuring your hand, breaking your hand, and it just sort of felt like, man, Michelle Waterson, she worked so hard to get here. She's, a former Invicta champ, and they finally open up a weight class that is suitable for her, and it just can't seem like you can get some momentum. Is it almost like, was there a point where you thought to yourself, this will be sort of my story in the UFC? Like, I have one or two fights, but my body's just breaking down on me, and now things have turned around, and you're so much more appreciative of it all because it was maybe not going to materialize into this?
Hmm. I feel like, in hindsight, everything happens for a reason. At the moment, it feels like, it's the end of the road. And anytime somebody hits a rough spot in life, that's what it feels like. But you just have to continue to trek forward and have faith in your path. And I know that those steps backwards were still steps closer to my goal, and they were necessary in order for me to get here where I am today.
I think you had a nice moment with Carlina. I mean, I know you wrote something about her afterwards. She wrote on your page as well. Did you speak to her after the fight?
We did. Well, after the fight, she told me she had something for me, and we cracked open a beer and shared a beer together in
Wow.
the back in the green room. And then I heard throughout fight week that she tried to order some Girl Scout cookies from Araya, but they wouldn't deliver to Poland. So Araya brought some Girl Scout cookies for her, and we had given those to her in her room before we left. And then she gave Araya her Polish scarf.
Oh my gosh. That's so nice.
Yeah, and I gave her my jersey. I'm trying to start this new trend, kind of how they do in soccer, where they switch jerseys. So I gave her my jersey because I feel like I don't know, maybe it's that I'm getting older, or I don't know what it is, but I just this is a rough sport, man, and we take things from each other that you'll never be able to get back. And I think it's important to appreciate your opponent because they're going in there and giving it their all, you know?
It felt to me like there was a real amount of respect between you and Carolina. Like she really she admired you and looked up to you, and it felt like you had the same kind of respect. Is it tougher when you're fighting someone that you feel that way about for you?
I think that was another thing that added to the set of nerves is how can I go out there and be this vicious beast and dominate and finish like I want to against somebody that I respect. And it's a part of respecting your opponent, in my opinion. I feel like I've gotten to a place where if I'm holding back, then and I'm not giving it my all, then that's a disrespect to my opponent. So I got to go out there and give it my all because in doing so, I'm showing them respect.
Hmm. By the way, did she give you her jersey as well?
No, I was too chicken to ask for it. I
What?
thought
Come on.
I wanted to ask for it. I thought it would be cool. But I was too chicken. I was like, here, I wanted to give this to you. I don't know.
Well, and she just took it, or then she gave the scarf to your daughter?
Yeah, she gave the scarf
Okay.
over.
All right. No, I like that. Like, I don't know if you've been following like Dwayne Wade, the basketball player. After every one of his games, he's retiring at the end of the year. He does a jersey swap with someone on the other team. I feel like this could be a cool thing to show like the respect between the martial artists. After the fight, you give like you stand in the cage together. You do the swap. That's nice. That's a good trend. You should start
Yeah,
that.
I wanted to, but I didn't. I don't know what the rules are with like Reebok and stuff because I wanted to
Oh,
do it in the cage,
yeah.
but because they're always like, you got to put your shirt on so you can get paid, and I'm like, okay, does that mean I can't take it off to trade it with? I don't know. So I held off on it.
That's silly. Run with it next time. And if anyone asks you, tell them I said it was okay.
I blame it on you. Yeah.
Perfect. In a perfect world, when do you want to return?
Before the end of the year.
Okay. So you want to take a little break here?
I do. And not a break from training, because if I'm calling for the champ, that's a huge undertaking,
Right.
and I want to be 100% ready for it. With each fight, I feel like I'm getting better. I'm continuing to improve, and it's all the small stuff. I already have the confidence to step in and to call out the champ because I feel like I'm ready for it. But in between the fights, I think that's when you learn the most. That's when you're able to just develop your own skills and uh, worry about developing as a fighter and not having to worry about breaking down specific game plan for a specific fighter.
Okay, yep, that makes sense. Could I ask, it seemed, at least to me, like you were like super shredded before this fight. Maybe a little more so than usual. Is that accurate?
Man, I felt good. I didn't realize how good I looked until I saw like, start until I started to cut the water off and I was like, "Man, my legs are huge." But I feel like I really took the time to listen to my body, and my husband's always pulling back the reins, and sometimes I have a tendency of overtraining. So I just really listened to my husband when he said, "Hey, take a break today, do this, do that," and my husband's taken a huge step in being in my corner for the entire fight camp. So he comes with me in strength and conditioning. Him and I do like sparring simulations, and I think it's been a tremendous help. Like he'll put the helmet on and let me go to town on elbows and knees like 100% as he's trying to buck me off, and that's just allowed me to really feel uh, what it feels like to go 100%.
Oh, wow.
And also just
Go ahead, sorry.
I was just gonna say recovery, man. It's really underrated. I think the recovery is the best time to allow your body to actually repair itself and to become stronger. And sometimes you're training off of, you know, a broken body, and then you don't allow your body to recover. And then when you go back in, you're not 100% when you're training in your next session, you're at 50%. So you just continue to break your body down. So I have a morning routine where I use the sauna and the cold plunge, and I roll out, and that's something that's become a daily habit.
So is your husband clearly he's taking more of an active role in your camp. How long has that been for, and why did you guys decide to do that?
These last two.
Oh,
Well, he's always been in my corner,
right.
but these last two, I think it was just kind of like two or three. My husband's sitting next to me giving me crap like, "No, you've been beating me up for the last three fights." um, I think it's hard for him to see me hurt. It's
Okay.
hard for him to see me black and bloodied. And the best thing that he knew that he could do to prevent that was to help me get prepared for the fights. And so he's taken a step back from his job as a financial advisor and really stepped up in the coaching aspect of it. I mean, in all aspects of it, in the management and reaching out to people and all of that stuff. But he really believes in me and knows that I can be the champ. And he just knows that I need the time. We need the time, and we need to invest. We need to invest the right time and do it properly. And there's a small window of opportunity, and we need to capitalize on it.
Wow. So he actually left his job?
No, he can dictate his own hours. So he's cut down on the amount of clients he has.
Okay.
And so he still has his job, but what he does now, he runs his own practice, so he can pick and choose his clientele, but I'm his number one client.
As you should be. Congratulations on the win, Michelle. Congrats to you, your husband, your daughter, your mom, your entire family. I love how it's always a family affair. If people haven't seen the E60 profile on you and your family, I suggest they check it out. It's on our YouTube page. And the second part of the Destined series is coming out this week, which I think is really cool how they now do the aftermath. They haven't done that in the past. So check that out on ESPN Plus. Thank you for doing this. Heal up and good luck with the kitchen remodeling. I know how big of a pain that can be as well.
Thank you, Ariel. It's always a pleasure to be on your show.
Thank you very much. There she is, the great Michelle Waterson, 57.5% significant striking accuracy, the highest among female fighters all time. How about that? Wow. 3 in a row. Well done, Michelle Waterson. All right. Other big story on Saturday in Philadelphia, the return of Josh Emmett. He had not fought since February of 2018, lost that fight to Jeremy Stevens, suffered brutal injuries. I still think it was an illegal knee, by the way. But anyway, that's all in the past. He comes back on Saturday and he knocks out Michael Johnson with one of the cleanest right hands you'll ever see. Definitely a front runner for knockout of the year, at least thus far. Let's say hello to Josh Emmett right now. Josh, how are you?
I'm doing great. How you doing, Ariel?
Oh, I can't imagine how you are feeling after everything that you've been through over the last 14 months or so. That one punch alone, it won't erase probably what you've been through, but I would imagine that must have felt like the greatest punch of your life, right?
Yeah, no, it was definitely I feel like the best performance to date. And that's what I was hoping to go in there and do for the fans and do for my career. You know, I knew a big win over Michael Johnson, since such a seasoned veteran like him. It would put me right back in the mix where I left off, and he's never been knocked out like that. So it was man, it was a great night.
So you think that was your best performance of your career?
No, not really. But I'm just saying, I'm always going in there hoping to have the best performance to date. But it was a good performance. I actually stuck to the game plan, and it's tough for me because typically I go in there and I want to just pressure. But then when I do that and I just throw all these, I guess, kind of not crazy exchanges, I'm always keeping my eyes on my opponent. But it's more of like a 50-50, you know what I mean? We're like flipping a coin. But I just had to keep working my movement and just be patient and not rush anything, and just knowing that it would eventually come, but just be a little more strategic and a little smarter in there.
How's your face feeling after that fight?
It feels good so far. You know, I have a small little black eye, and like a cut, like the tiniest scratch.
Okay.
But other than that, body feels great. Typically my hands, my feet, my shins hurt after fights, but I'm excited to get back to Sacramento. I'm still in Philadelphia, so I'm heading back tomorrow night, and then I'll be back in the gym on Friday.
And considering all the physical and mental hurdles that you had to overcome to get to this fight, did you feel early on like you were gun shy, like you were tentative, because you didn't want to go through that? Like, were there any lasting effects from what happened against Jeremy Stevens?
No, not at all. I was just being a little more cautious while I was in there. I wanted to, because we know Michael Johnson, he's athletic, he's super fast as far as his hands go, and he has some power, with knocking out some of the top guys. He's fought some of the best guys, and I just didn't want to be reckless, and I didn't want to get caught with anything. So the plan was just to kind of keep moving and just kind of fill him out, for the first few minutes. And man, I say this all the time, but I give all my opponents so much respect because I watch them, and possibly they fought my teammates, my coaches, and I get insight from them. But I don't know how it's going to be until I'm physically in the octagon with them. I have to feel their speed and power and strength for myself. So honestly, I got in there. I thought he was going to be way faster, and I thought he was going to be way more powerful, and it just, that wasn't the case.
Is one of the best byproducts of having a win like that after what you experienced last year is that now you can start to move on from last year? Like there's another fight and a W at the top of your record, so you can actually get on with your life now?
Yeah, exactly. Because even leading up to the fight week, and the last 13 months, all they asked me is about the injuries I sustained and the Stevens fight and this and that. And I don't care, because that's what happened. But it's just like, even in the interviews this week, I wasn't even getting really asked about Michael Johnson fight, and he's such a good fighter. He was like number 5 in the lightweight division, beat some of those best guys, and I didn't really get to talk on how just how important that fight was going to be, or how tough the fight was going to be. It was all about my face and the orbital
Right.
fractures and the vertigo and this and that. But yeah, now we can officially move on. I've been moved on for a long time, just trying to focus for the future. But then they kept bringing me back,
Oh,
But now I'm over that. No
so
more.
now I feel like a bit of an a-hole for asking you this question, but I haven't had a chance to talk to you. So you really can't feel your gums at the top of your mouth on the left side?
Yeah, on the left side, it's just completely, just still numb. I can, with my finger, I just can't feel it. And it's still like a big numb patch,
Oh man.
all through here. But it used to be like from the left side over. And now at least I have feeling, and it's just kind of, it's just narrowed down to like a smaller circle. But yeah, certain things, I still I can't feel the feeling just because of that nerve that was compressed. But maybe it's a good thing.
Yeah, maybe. So
Yeah,
have they
maybe.
told you that you will at some point regain all of the feeling there?
No, it's just kind of I just kind of have to wait and see.
Wow.
It may come back a little bit, but it may never come back. I guess just time will tell.
Does that help in a fight? Actually, when someone punches you, you don't feel it?
Uh, no, I guess you could still feel it. It's mainly my, I don't know, maybe it's just a small area, really.
Okay.
But yeah, so it's not. I don't think I have an advantage or anything.
Right. Okay. Like someone who has like a steel plate in his face and it actually hurts the opponent, or like a big beard, something like that. So you get that win. That must have felt amazing. And then, man, I gotta say, like, you get on the mic and ask for the bonus, and I thought you were a shoo-in. And after everything you've been through, and I know that the past has nothing to do with like the night performance of the night, but how did you react when you found out that you did not get the bonus?
And I was just disappointed. I was just so disappointed because I feel like a lot of my fights, I can make an argument why I should have got bonuses several times. And then just after that, just the way it went down, it was a walk-off home run.
Yeah.
And I say grand slam at the World Series. It doesn't get any sweeter than that. And I thought I was a shoe-in too, just like you said. So I told Uriah, Joey, and Danley, I was like, finally, like this is a for sure thing. And then yeah, I didn't get it, and I thought they were joking because they pulled it up online, and they're like, "You didn't get it," and I was like, "No way!" Like I swear they were just messing with me. And then I looked, and I was just disappointed. But I don't know what else I have to do or how to get one of those. But I still feel like the UFC they've been good to me, and so I hope they'll fix this. I'm still staying positive and optimistic. Maybe Dana will come in and do something great. He's done things in the past for other fighters, so I'm just hopeful. That's all I can really do, and yeah, just we'll see.
Was part of the reason why you wanted it because you have not fought in over a year? You lost your last fight, so you didn't get the win bonus there. Like, was the last year tough on you and your family financially because you were not able to be active?
Yeah, no, super, and that's why I was coming into this fight. Like I'm going home with a win and a bonus. That was my mindset. I had it made up. Um, yeah, I fought one time in the beginning of 2018, and I got half a paycheck. So it was really just a struggle. 2018 for my wife and I, and just everything. It's I felt like just with a win is going to get me back to even, just because yeah, you know how it is, just bills. Like we don't get paid as much as we should. So I couldn't go get another job just because then I can't train. And then when I get a fight, what am I supposed to quit the job? That's just not me. I can't like half-ass things. So I'm either all in on something, and that's the reason why I really wanted that bonus, just to kind of get me a little ahead, just a little ahead. But I'm hoping I'm healthy. I'm going to get back into training on Friday, like I said, and I'm hoping to fight in June or possibly July. I want to fight in Vegas. It would be awesome to fight on International Fight Week as well.
Anyone in particular come to mind?
Just someone in front of me or a bigger name. That's all I can hope for, and that's what I want to do. So they offered me someone that was ranked ahead of me. I took that fight. Unfortunately, he got injured, and then Michael Johnson's name was thrown in there, and then that motivated me even more. I think it was a better fight just because of how good Michael Johnson is and how big of a following he is or has. And yeah, so that it motivated the hell out of me. It motivated me even more just because I knew I had to work. I had to work my ass off so I could go in there and beat him and just show the fans and just everyone that I truly belong here.
Who was that other name?
I was Mirsad Bektic.
Okay.
And then I think he got some type of injury or something, and I think it worked out even better. You know, I feel everything happens for a reason, and that didn't go as planned, and I got the Johnson fight, and then I had that spectacular knockout. Even going back to the Stevens fight, as bad as the injuries that I had, you know, with the time off, I really let my body just heal. This is the best I've felt since I got into the UFC. I've been fighting injured my entire career in the UFC, except my first fight against John Tuck. Other than that, I've been messed up, not being able to train the way that, like with wrestling, jiu-jitsu, everything. I have not done that since I got into the UFC until this camp.
Wow. Well, congratulations, my man. What a performance. What a win. What a knockout. Holy smokes. Very happy for you. Well done on coming back and overcoming all of that, and continued success. And hopefully you get to make up for lost time and fight a bunch of times this year and rake in all the dough. Thanks for doing this, Josh. I appreciate it.
All right, cool. Thanks again, Ariel. Nice seeing you.
No problem. There he is. Josh Emmett, big win for him on Saturday. He improves now to 14-2. If you have not seen that knockout, check it out. It was as precise as can be, like a sniper. Unbelievable. All right. So Friday, some big news. I talked about it at the top. Jorge Masvidal, Ben Askren. Is it happening? Is it not? Is it happening in Chicago? Is it happening in Las Vegas? Is it happening at all? Let's get some answers here from Funky Ben Askren, who is a regular guest on the program these days. It's so nice. Wow. How are you, Ben?
I'm doing well. How are you doing this morning, Ariel?
I'm doing really well. It's nice. It's like our bi-weekly or bi-monthly check-in with each other. This is very nice. So here we are on a Monday afternoon. What's going on? What's happening? Are you fighting Masvidal or not?
Well, I think I am. I don't know what he is. I was listening to Josh Emmett talking. I don't know what this man's talking about not being able to get a job. And this is something I have an issue with all MMA fighters. Listen,
Okay.
MMA is a terrible profession to choose. I don't really know why I chose it. But I got like 3 jobs outside of MMA. Come on, guy, get a job.
Okay, what are they?
Well, I'm a podcaster for Rudis, 1.
Okay.
I own 3 wrestling academies and do wrestling camps. That would be number 2. I travel around and do wrestling camps. That's 3. I work for the Badger RTC. That's 4.
The what? What's the 4th one? The what?
Badger Regional Training Center. I'm the head coach for it's for senior level athletes at the University of Madison, or University of Wisconsin at Madison.
Okay, all right. So you're telling Josh, go out there and get a job, basically.
I'm telling all MMA fighters, listen, here's what you need to do. You need to do something to provide value to those outside of just performing inside the octagon, because at some time your run in the octagon will be done. At some time you will be injured and you will not be able to get in there. And you need to have other skills that you can use to provide a living for yourself and your family.
Okay. That is a good PSA from Funky Ben Askren. So
PSA starting Monday. Listen, I hit up the UFC. I was busy. I was actually coaching all weekend at USA Wrestling Folk Style National Tournament for 3 days straight. We had 4 national champions in the high school age division. We had 1 in the younger division. We had 25 total All-Americans. It was a great weekend. And I didn't even follow up with the UFC. I saw that stuff announced Friday. I kind of retweeted, was on Twitter a little bit. But yesterday on the way home, I followed up with Hunter Campbell. He says, we still want to do it in Chicago. We might do it in Vegas. We're not sure. So I'm not sure.
So I think the big hurdle was, would Masvidal pick you? Because it seemed like he had a choice between Leon Edwards and Askren.
Pick me.
Yes.
Pick me. Are you on drugs, Ariel? You damn well know I got way more followers than him, and I'm way higher paid than him. Will I pick him is the damn question.
Well, you did, though, right?
Well, I mean, I picked him as my victim, not my opponent.
Right, fair enough. But then he
and I'm victim. The man has been stooping. I'm gonna start calling him Flapjack because he's stooping to doing hype videos in IHOP parking lots.
Oh, this is a great tee up. I have that video. I'd love to play it and get your reaction to it.
But you're gonna make everyone who's listening to this program much stupider. I mean, I tried to listen to that thing. And I'm thinking like, what is this guy gonna make any relevant points the whole time he's on here? I don't even know what he's talking about.
Let's revisit it. Here's Masvidal in the parking lot of the IHOP.
Hello, everybody. I'm back stateside, enjoying my little vacation, you know, and I coming back, and man, I got so much groupie love. Give me that groupie. I can't believe it, you know. I got these two little. You might know them or you might not. One's from England, one's from some suburb, which I don't know, and I don't give a you know, calling me out. One's not in the top 10, and the other one that is hasn't got a victory in the UFC. Didn't make the dude tap Robbie Lawler, and didn't put him to sleep. But you think you have a win in the UFC? Who are you fooling? You can fool the crowd, but you can't fool me, Playboy. Because when I seen you in the hotel, what did you do? You ran away like a little when I tried to talk to you, and you were, oh, I wish you good luck, and we'll talk after your fight. And I was pretty ready to slap you up if you said anything disrespectful. Thank goodness you didn't, and you walked away. So what do I care to fight you or the other guy? I'll let my management decide. You keep hitting me up all you want, though. You little you know?
Come on, you got to admit, that's good stuff. That's gold right there.
I mean, my IQ points dropped about 7 points. I got some to spare. But yeah, I'll be all right. And then on top of that, he just tells these lies. Like, he wants to make himself seem so much tougher. And here's the deal is, I'm trying to fight the man in an octagon, and he's making all these excuses of why he shouldn't have to do it. And he says, oh, I was going to kick your ass in the hotel. Like, listen, George, the way you tell that story is not at all, not even close to what happened. And just sign the damn contract and let's be done with this.
Okay, so let's hear the story. What did happen in the hotel?
Let's see. I'm standing upstairs. He comes up the stairs, you know, or whatever. I think they purposely put me in a different hotel down the street because they knew I was going to instigate trouble.
Okay.
So I didn't realize that till the second day. I'm like, why did they got me in this hotel where nobody else is? You know, it's like 100 meters away or so. So I figured it out. So he comes up the stairs. I say, hey, George is here. And then he gets like pissed. Like, it doesn't take anything to piss these guys off. It's kind of funny. Just like the Marty scene. Well, I said was, you're not going to make me sit next to Marty, are you? And he got irate. It does not take much to make these guys mad. It's kind of hilarious. And so he starts cussing at me. I look at him. I smile. He walks by to go do his interview or whatever. And that was it. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to fight this guy in a hotel. I don't fight for free. I fight in an octagon for a lot of money. But there was definitely no running away. There was no me wishing him good luck or anything.
Wow.
And it was a really simple exchange, and I don't know why he felt the need to lie about it.
Whoa. Okay, so you're calling him a flat out liar right now. He is embellishing.
Oh, I mean, that wouldn't be the first time he's embellished a few of his stories. And obviously his management, not Melky. Who was the
Abraham.
other cop? Whatever his damn name is. He said, I verify this story. It's like, okay, because you're a trusted, unbiased third party, dude.
What about that tweet that he had about with the McDonald's guy somewhere in the suburbs? I think you liked that one. You actually gave him props for that.
I didn't exactly know what he meant, but it was at least, he was trying. It was at least kind of funny. Yeah,
Yes.
I laughed.
So
Yes.
if they don't do, like, for some reason Chicago isn't working for him, is that like a deal breaker for you? Or if they
No,
do? Okay.
I'm good with Las Vegas.
All right.
The Las Vegas card will be fun. That's gonna be a huge card. You got John Jones, you got Holly Holm, Manda Nunez, Junior Dos Santos. That's gonna be a really big card. So I'm good with being on either one of those.
So when you spoke to Hunter Campbell, the chief legal counsel of the UFC, why are they sticking to their guns with Chicago? Why not book this fight? Is it because they need a couple more big fights in Chicago?
You know what? I didn't get it. That's his business. I didn't get into it. I said June 8th, July 6th. Doesn't really matter to me.
Okay. Do you think it will happen?
I would assume so. I'm in if he stops being scared and signs a contract, and then I think we're definitely good to go.
I feel like, and this goes back to what we were talking about a couple weeks ago, especially now with Robbie Lawler booked. I mean, that's the last guy left. Who else is there?
Well, you got Ponzinibbio.
All right, fair enough.
Damn it, I had a list. I told you who I'd fight a couple weeks, and it was pretty much the entire list.
I know.
Now you're gonna maybe go find the list again. Well, I'm doing this live on air. Let me
That's
find
fun.
this list for you.
I like that. What do you have, like an Excel sheet or something?
Well, no, I'm just going to the UFC rankings. I mean,
okay.
I know they're not like the most reliable rankings in the world, but we're gonna make them make do. I mean, Till will be healthy within due time. You got Ponzinibbio. And then I guess you'd have to go all the way down to Leon Edwards and Damian Maia. So you do have to go down pretty far to find someone.
All right, but you are hopeful. That is good news. I don't know what the issue is with June 8th, but hopefully that doesn't, hopefully the UFC doesn't stick to their guns there and say, because I would understand why they want you on June 8th. Chicago, Milwaukee. It's like an hour and a half away from where you live. But hopefully that doesn't end up being, because I want to see this fight now. I feel like we've invested a lot in this fight. It kind of has to happen.
Yeah, I mean, either way, if it doesn't happen, I'm sure I'll find a suitable opponent. Or the UFC will find a suitable opponent for me, and I'll get back in the cage in due time. I mean, that's what I'm here for, Ariel. I don't have forever. I need to get in the cage and fight as many times as possible while I'm still willing and able.
Does a part of you feel bad for Leon Edwards because he did get punched in the face? No?
No, not at all.
Why?
Well, do I feel bad that he got punched in the face? Yeah, I don't like sucker punching, so I guess I would feel bad for that part. Do I feel bad that he's not getting the fight? No, not at all. And this is what Leon Edwards doesn't understand. And he said, why is Ben Askren in London? It's like, Leon, do you see, all the numbers I'm getting on pretty much every social media? Do you see why Ariel has me on every single week? It's because people, for some reason, I don't know why, for some reason now find me at least semi-interesting, and they want to see me get in the octagon. So you need to do something similar to yourself, and then you will be able to get the bigger fights.
Let me ask you about one championship, because yesterday I was thinking,
that was a fun card. That was a really fun card.
I was thinking, what does Ben Askren think about all this? Eddie Alvarez goes over there and loses somewhat shockingly. Demetrius has a tough go in the first round. And I feel like this is validation for everyone who said that you were fighting cans over there. Maybe they're not that bad. Did you take it the same way?
Yeah, I mean, I said something like that in jest on Twitter, but no, I mean, I don't feel the need. I don't have that chip on my shoulder where I feel the need to validate myself constantly. I knew that one championship was doing great things. This was a gigantic show. I mean, a lot of the fights were a lot of fun. The Angela Lee fight with I'm gonna call it JXN because I don't really know I don't know how to say her name properly. That was a really good fight. Demetrius was a fun fight. Yeah, they just had a really good card kind of all the way through, and obviously their shows are always really well put together. So I had a lot of fun catching up on that card, and it's great to see them have success because obviously I still have a good relationship with all the people over there, and I'm rooting for them to do well in the Asian market.
Do you feel a sort of kinship with DJ because you guys will forever be linked? You're involved in that historic trade. Like, were you going out of your way to root for him, or maybe not root for him? Like, do you want the trade to look better for the UFC? You win, he loses.
Well, I'm a DJ fan, so I'm not like a gigantic DJ fan. Or he's my best friend. I met him. He's an awesome dude. So I guess I would cheer for him more than other people. But no, there's not like any like super huge cheering section for him.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you are you rooting for one? Do you feel indebted to them because of what they did for you?
Not necessarily. I just saw the way they operated. I saw the way they worked. They're just good people all the way through. And it's great to see them have success. And then on top of that, for me, I'm a fighters' rights guy. So the more promotions that are having success and the more promotions that can pay athletes good wages is going to be better off for the athletes. So that's kind of always the way I lean and what I cheer for.
So you dodged the Lawler rematch bullet. Your buddy Tyron.
There was no bullet there. I said I will listen. I'll give you the truth of it here, Ariel.
Please.
I didn't talk fight. I thought I told you this last time. And I can't believe you would make a damn accusation like that. I might as well come up to New York and slap you.
What? What do you mean? What accusation?
Listen, your nose is going to be hard to miss when I swing. Then I dodged the damn bullet.
What?
Get out of here.
Listen. Okay.
Here's the truth of it. I go to London. I say to the UFC, we're going to talk after this. I talked to them. I was headed to the NCAA championships on Wednesday. I talked to them, and they said, Robbie Lawler. I said, okay, let me talk to my management. We'll see. So I get to the airport, I get on a plane, I get off the plane. We were going to make him sweat for a little bit. I said, F this, let's just get over it. They called me first, and they said, how about George Masvidal? I said, sure, no problem, let's do it. And that was that. And then that was that was the Wednesday before the NCAA championships. I don't recall the exact date on that. Was it's a week and a half ago now or something. And so the fact that that's a bullet dodge, that's not true. I was ready and willing to accept the fight. I said as much on your program. And so the fact that you'd make an accusation like that is kind of silly. And the one thing that
it's not an accusation, it's like a figure of speech. Like there was a bullet in the form of Robbie Lawler coming your way, and you.
I don't like your figures of speech.
Okay, wait. Let's
out here.
Okay, well, let's see if this man likes this figure of speech. Let's bring in a third party into this conversation.
Simmer down, ask. We're announcing our show called, what do we call it?
Is
flip
someone
flops
cut
and
your right?
flip flop. Hey, we're gonna do our show called Flip Flops and Drop Tops.
I like that. That's a good
Yeah,
name.
beard and no beard.
Tyron,
Like,
you getting
are you
your
growing,
haircut?
hey, Ben, are you growing your hair back out?
No, I actually got a haircut. You know what?
Damn.
I'm just too.
My bad.
I'm too busy, so I got a freaking. I can't make. My hair's just all over the place.
Ariel. All right, because I always have to be an encyclopedia for Ben. So let me break it down.
Okay.
Ben, he was not saying that you dodged Robbie as if you were scared to fight him again. He was saying that maybe that fight didn't make sense because you already beat him.
Mm-hmm.
So now you don't have to worry about them presenting that fight to you, and you can go and move on to this long Excel sheet full of welterweights that you have.
Excel sheet. I like
right,
that.
Ariel?
That's
How'd you know I had
right,
an Excel
Ariel?
sheet?
Thank you, Tyron. See, that's all I was saying, Ben.
You know, I sometimes we got to break it up because Ben didn't know with that kind of energy. Ben, if you were smart, you would have said, "Hey,
I love
Ariel,
that
when I come to New, you should have said, "Hey, Ariel, when I come to New York, keep that same energy."
That's right.
That was your chance.
Like Marty.
Tyron, did you know that one time I got permanently banned from Ariel's show for threatening to? I didn't even fight him. It was more of a metaphor that I was going to fight him, and then he kicked me off forever.
So, Ariel, you dodged the bullet.
That's right.
You dodged the bullet, Ariel.
Boom, roasted. No, listen, Ben, at the time, you were pretty low on the totem pole in terms of fighters is concerned. Now you're a big star. Now I want you back. But back then, you weren't doing much for my numbers. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, and you guys know that this little 30-second stream is going to be looped 1,000,000 times this week.
Well, I can only see half of Tyron's face, and I don't know what's
Tyron,
going on.
you got to move your camera over to the other side.
I was trying to let everybody see my line in because it was kind of crisp.
Your beard is very long. I think you should ask them to trim that. Can you ask him?
You need to grow a beard.
I just
At some point, you're going to have to drop your balls down and let a beard grow. At some point.
This is incredible.
You can't just keep going Clark Kent for the rest of your life.
I think beards are so gross. They get all itchy, and it's like, what's in that
I need to
thing?
see your birth certificate. I
don't know what's in that beard.
I don't believe you're 34 years old.
There's anything in there. Hey, that guy looks like Dean Thomas's dad. Look,
hey,
is that Dean? Yeah.
Are you talking about Oliver back here?
This is incredible. Listen, I've been doing this show 10 years. We've never had someone get a haircut in the middle of the show. This is amazing stuff. This is historic, Tyron. Thank you.
You got Ben over there in some professional podcasting room with his sponsor logo in the back, headset on, Excel sheet. He didn't mispronounce one word, no grammatically incorrect sentences, and you got me at the barbershop getting cut up.
I love it.
Flip flops and drop tops.
Wait, let's keep. Hey, Ben, stick around here for a second. Tyron is fighting Robbie Lawler, and you just fought Robbie Lawler. Wait, are you not? Wait a second. What's up? What's up, Tyron?
Hey, Brett Zakamoto might want to call me first before he starts dropping some stuff.
Oh, have you not agreed to that?
You have to talk to my manager, as Ben said.
Oh, wow, this is interesting.
I just told Ariel that you can't trust the Kawas early in the show, so you might not want to call that.
I know. I was going to jump in on you because I ride with Malky, and he just had a birthday. Happy belated birthday the other day.
Yes. And
yeah, me to each his own though. When I signed with Malky in the beginning, people didn't think the fit matched, but we have a good relationship, and yeah. So I got to stand up for my homie Malky.
Well, I was picking on Ibrahim or whatever his name is.
You should challenge him to a wrestling match.
He don't want to wrestle me. I'd take both Kawas at one time.
I just want my belt back, so I'm trying to find the best route to get the belt back and also to continue to be paid what I'm worth. So as long as those things interact together, then I'm pretty much willing to fight anyone besides the flip-flops over here.
Okay, I was just gonna say, what if Dana White calls you right now, Tyron, and says, I have the fight that gets you the belt back. You versus Ben, International Fight Week. Do you do it?
No, I say, well, I appreciate the offer, but when you got a real fight for me, hit me up. Let me know.
Yeah, they haven't. They've never even,
They will though, because it's kind of interesting.
They
like,
won't do that.
This is so
they
cool.
won't do it.
Let me fucking try to get these two to fight. Well, come to practice. Actually, Ben, they should have came to wrestling practice in college. We used to fuck each other up there. Busted eyes and everything.
I don't think they're. I think they know. I think they know not to even throw that because they've never even mentioned it to me. So I think they got a good idea.
You know, I believe I should get an instant rematch, but we know that's not going to happen because Marty and Queefington has a nice little, riff going back and forth. So therefore, do I wait around and let people like Masvidal knock out Till and Anthony knock out Wonder Boy, and then these other welterweight matches happen? And I'm sitting behind performance-based sport now. It's not about rank. It's not about what you did for me lately. It's about your performance, your last outing. So if these guys' last outing was a phenomenal one, and my last outing, I basically was having a bad dream, I can't be confident that I'm going to sit there and jump right into a rematch for the winning opponent. So therefore, I got to be willing to take a fight in between, even if I was never told that I had to, just so you know.
Oh.
I was never told that I had to take a fight in between, but it was too many things and whatever. If this happened and that, and the wind chill is 22, and then you throw a leap up and it go 3 inches to the right, then maybe, but only if Connor don't. I can't do all that.
Oh.
Connor,
just give me
Connor at welterweight.
No, I'm just saying, like, how you start throwing, like, if this guy fights and this guy wins and he beats that guy, and if he's not injured and they both pass USADA, and you 99% have the rematch, unless Connor comes in and wants to fight this person and he's cleared. No. Let me just whoop some ass, remind everybody what I'm made of, and then my performance and match up with theirs. 4 successful title defenses, knocked out Robbie Lawler, who's a fighter of the year twice, and 2 crazy world title fights that may be some of the best fights in welterweight champion history, minus the time I knocked him out in a few seconds. But if that's what I got to do and the money's right and it makes sense, then I'm not against it. But have I signed a bout agreement? Do you see it announced on UFC.com yet? Not yet.
So you haven't signed it yet?
He might have signed it.
What are you holding out for? What do you want?
My managers are going to look after my best interest and make sure that everything involved with this fight benefits me. I beat him fair and square. I knocked him out. No controversy there. I'm only willing to take fights that are going to get me back to my belt. And I ain't trying to do 2, 3, 4 fights. I'm trying to do one and done, and I'm back there getting my scrap back. So they need to make sure everything's right, everything's good. Because if you, Robbie, even if you don't think you can beat me as a man, you got to at least try. You give him a chance to get a rematch that you don't even deserve, to fight somebody that beats you with no controversy. You didn't land one punch on him. He better take that fight. So does it benefit me or him? I already beat him once.
Ben, can I ask you, Ben, as a guy who knows the fight game very well, I was surprised that Tyron was taking this fight because I don't know how you can beat him better. Like, does this fight, in your opinion, does this fight make sense for Tyron? Should he even take this fight?
I think it's one of the reasons I took it in the first place is Robbie is a huge name. One way or the other, Robbie's a big name. Like Tyron said, he was a UFC champion. He was a fight of the year twice. Robbie's a big name, whether you like it or not. He might be, up there with Tyron and I as the biggest names in the welterweight division. Let me look. He's more popular than Usman, more popular than Covington, Dos Anjos, Masvidal, Till, Thompson, Ponzinibbio. Yeah, Robbie's the most popular guy in that top 10 besides Tyron and I.
So you understand my logic there?
Yes.
See, you're a smart dude, Ben. That's why I like you. We should do a show together called Flip Flops and Hip Hop.
Okay.
Let's do it. I'm ready.
So then, conversely, Tyron, what do you think of Masvidal Askren? Do you like this fight for Ben?
I like the fight for Ben. I'm homies with Masvidal as well, but unlike, I got to call my homie out. One of my buddies was liking a whole bunch of Kamaru Usman pictures during the fight week.
Oh.
You know who you are.
Whoa.
And I didn't like it.
That's whack.
What?
So,
who is it?
Yeah.
Put him on blast right now.
I'm not going to put him on blast.
Why not?
He's a closer friend than I want to admit. I can tell you that much.
He's a Benedict Arnold. Who is it?
Yeah. He was liking a whole bunch of them Usman pictures, so I didn't really like that. But I ain't going to put him on blast.
Cut him out.
Tyron, you know what I hate? Can I tell you guys something I hate?
Please.
It's these beta male fighters, and 2 of them are Usman and Masvidal, and they get on Twitter, and they don't say something to you. They don't say, like, Ben, you suck, I'm going to kick your ass. They just like other posts of people talking trash about you.
I do. I have seen that, though. I have seen that.
That's a beta male way to do things. No beta male.
Yeah, that was annoying. That was very annoying. But to answer your question about the matchup,
Yes.
I think, for Masvidal, it's not a very good matchup for him. And I'm going to just tell you why. He's a dope fighter. He's a G. He's not extremely easy to take down, but I think that if Damian Maia can take him down, I think Ben Askren is going to be able to take him down. And I know Ben's pressure is a lot stronger than what Damian Maia can present. So when you think about that, you think about the confidence and ability to cling to you and clinch you and grab you and chain wrestle and scramble. And, one thing that Ben knows now that he may not have want to know is that motherfucker can take a punch. Because after getting slammed, hitting your head, equilibrium off, and getting hit by Robbie Lawler, who can argue standing still, no hips turn, no running start. If you just sit there and punch, he is the hardest punch in welterweight. You know what I mean? If you just sit there and just punch. To be able to take that comeback, get your focus, grab him, get him on the ground, and bulldog choke him, whether he tapped or not, if you know Ben, he used to squeeze a soccer ball for 10 minutes, it was going to eventually happen, or his jaw was going to get broke. So that's something. When all he didn't tap, he didn't really go out. If you've ever been in one of Ben's locks, or what they call squeezes or whatever, he'll keep that same lock. He call it like a zip tie. It never loosens up. It only gets tighter and tighter.
Never,
and tighter,
only
and tighter.
tighter.
And I know that because I've grappled with this bastard. And it is no lie, and it's annoying. So when I saw that, I'm like, even if he wouldn't have tapped him out, he would have pushed his jawbone back so much that it would have either made it so uncomfortable, he would have been forced to tap, or he would have went out, or he would have broke his jaw. So that's what I see out of that. So with that said, Masvidal obviously is a striker, decent wrestling, decent ground, decent kicks, but his main thing is hand speed and ability to box. You need space and distance for that. I think Ben's kind of shown that he's good at closing that distance. So I think it's a good fight. Both guys are good fighters. If I had to bet unbiasedly, I would have to say Ben, just because I know what happens when you get guys on the ground. I mean, it's annoying.
Ben, can I ask you one more thing before I let you go here?
Yeah, of course.
So, interesting scenario. I know you paid attention to all this stuff. Saturday, post-fight show, Felder, Gaethje, they get into a little thing. Gaethje didn't like that Felder stepped in. Woodley, our guy, is kind of like stuck in the middle there. What did you make of that? Was that unnecessary? Did you see this clip? Like, should Felder not have brought that out? Was that Gaethje's moment? Should he have not done that? What do you think?
No, he should have.
I got total mixed feelings on that.
I instigated it too.
And I appreciate that.
Yeah, I don't see why not. And then, if you look at the welterweight lightweight, they were 8 and 9. I mean, that's a good matchup for both guys. They're both strikers, and I don't really have an issue with Paul Felder doing a little extracurricular work. I mean, he's just doing 2 jobs in one, no problem there.
Okay, fair enough.
He did it so respectfully too. Hey, Ariel.
Yeah.
He did it with such respect, so intelligent. He didn't call him out old macho style. He said, because I respect you, because you came in my city and you had everybody jumping off the roof, and because the type of fight that you fight and the type of fight I fight, I think if anybody on this roster is willing to fight the type of fight with you, then it is. Was you wrong in anything he said? No,
right.
I mean, if you got millions of people right then and there, to watch and state your claim, would you really allow that moment to pass you by? He already missed a moment in New York because he wasn't ranked 10th, and Quincy got to jump in there, leaving him out to dry. So, yeah, I think he did it the right way. I agree with the way he did it. I kind of like what Gaethje said, too. Say, oh, you like your friend, right? Don't get him hurt. And Paul's like, oh, hold on. It's our sport. We're going to be nice now. We got these, it's a press conferences and shit talking on Twitter. Like, if dude want that smoke, just let him say it.
I got to say, LeBron has a show where he hangs out with his friends at a barbershop. I want to see a show where Ben goes to the bar. Is this in Ferguson? Are we in Ferguson right now?
Are we in Ferguson? Yeah, we are in Ferguson, right? Oh, we're in Florida.
I want to see a show where Ben goes to Tyron's barbershop and hangs out with the guys and maybe gets a little fade or something like that. Can we make this happen?
They would love me down there.
Catch your fade.
Yes.
Hey. Especially if you're in this region right there.
Oh, my.
That's
Get Tyron off the phone.
Not a joke. But,
Ben, it's a pleasure.
You know what catching a fade means, right?
Oh, wait.
Well, you informed me, so I thought it was getting a haircut. Apparently, it's like fighting someone or something.
There you go. Apparently.
Oh, this is so great. Tyron, stick around. I want to ask you a couple more things, but I'll let Ben go. Thanks for doing this, Ben. Appreciate it.
See you, Tyron. Yep, bye.
All right.
Hey, Tyron, are you still there?
Ariel, this will be your most viewed show.
That was great. That was great stuff. I appreciate it. I just want to ask,
Can I say what happened right here? No, I can't. Okay.
what happened? What? What happened? Come on. You can't do that now and not tell us.
All right. Well, what happened was funny. You mentioned getting a fade in here. Coming there and getting a fade. In the Urban Dictionary, we say, "Hey, I'm gonna shoot you the fade, or let's catch a fade." Basically, mean I want to fight you.
Right.
You got underneath my skin. Now we got to handle this. We got to fight. So when you said that, it was funny because somewhere in these courses a fight might have took place.
Oh no. Involving
Twice.
who?
Twice.
Involving you?
Maybe. No, not me.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm just gonna instigate it, but I can't say anymore because it's gonna be on ESPN.
Okay.
They might watch ESPN. When I come to the barbershop, I don't want them looking at me crazy.
Fair enough. You seem to be in a good spot, Tyron, but the past month, without the belt after the loss, how are you doing? How are you handling it?
Man, I was fighting the state of depression, Ariel. I'm gonna be real with you. Sometimes we can try to act like we got it all made and everything's figured out, but shit, I told myself I didn't really worship the belt. And I didn't worship the belt, but you don't recognize until you lose the belt how many things was tied into the belt, how much opportunities and your platform exposure, not to mention the amount of money you make in pay-per-view. And, not that I'm going to stop getting invited to cool parties or be able to collab with some real G's in music because of who I am. But you forget, and then you watch Usman, which thank God it was him. If it was Kobe Covington, I might have had to step outside for round 2. Because he's at least respectful. He at least embodies what we call champion. And I respected him before. I respected him after. He called me the next day, which he didn't have to do. And he's done it in a remarkable way where it's like, yeah, I lost, but I really didn't lose. I learned, and I also learned that there are still good martial artists out there because I really gave up hope that it was martial artists left, like Carlos Condon and Robbie and stuff like that. Like, our game is really conformed into this shit show. But it was just cool to see that still exists. And, we talked about rematching the fight, and, it was just cool. But outside of that, just sitting on the desk, make it or leave it, or Karen Bryant or such and such, sitting here with former,
Yeah.
Like that, it hits you, man. And it's like people look at you and they're so used to calling you champ. Some of them said, "Fuck it, I'm still gonna call you champ." Some of them can't. Hey, like they don't know what to say. You know what I mean?
Right. Have you watched it?
No, I won't watch it. There's no point in watching it. I've seen a couple clips on Instagram. It's like it's one picture that I took a screenshot of, and it's like my face is just like I wasn't even there. It was like a blank moment. So there's no point in me watching. It's gonna frustrate me. It's gonna give me emotions that I've been trying to suppress, and then this wasn't me. It wasn't fighting. It's not like I went out there and did my best and he had a better game plan and now I need to go back to the drawing board and fix it. No, I didn't really fight at all. So I'm surprised that he didn't knock me out or submit me or something worse. So
Do you feel like you're getting out of that depression now? Do you feel like you're starting to feel better?
I'm starting to feel better. I wouldn't straight claim a depression, but it was moments and songs and times and then everybody that's chasing after greatness understand where I'm coming from, but people that have not don't understand. So when someone's like, "Oh man, come on, yeah, get off your horse, man. Come on, man, suck it up. Come on, man, get back on that horse." You don't know how high that horse was. You don't know how long it took me to get to the top. You don't know how long and embarrassing that fall was from that horse, and how discouraging it could be to someone, that's 37 years old in about a week. You know what I mean? The amount of work it took to get there, to think, not that I have to do it all over, but even the fraction that I did, the transition you guys saw from Damian Maya and Till, just that that shift and change and to redo those things, man, I was not fucking with it when I first thought about it. But now it's like my ways are not God's ways, my thoughts are not his thoughts. I thought finally I'm getting promoted the way that I should be. Finally I'm getting the respect. Finally I'm the favorite. Not that I cared, but just I felt like some of the respect that many fans thought I deserved, I had just started to get. And album was coming out, dropping that Monday. I had movies, parties, all these things that tied into this way more than I thought. That my album would do a lot better if I stand in front of a million people and say, hey, I just beat some ass. Now I'm dropping an album featuring Beat Your Ass, go and cop that, da. And you guys still should get it. Chaos Theory, all digital platforms. But anyway, but yeah, it's just like I didn't want to promote the album. A lot of the songs in there are referencing being a champion or being a GOAT and being, knocking you out or something like that. I mean, it's not about fighting, but it's some like metaphors and things that I would say that it would be appropriate for me to say. But now I had to really tell myself it's still appropriate, brother. You always gonna be a champion. You was a champion. It's not over for you. You are gonna get your belt back. You know what I mean? And yeah, those words are still true. You still are the GOAT. But now I got to do similar to what George St. Pierre did when he lost to Matt Hughes and had to come back and avenge that. When he lost to Matt Sari and had to come back and avenge that. I thought that everything was on the up and up now. Don't have to struggle as much with the promotion. Don't have to struggle as much with the game plan. We had that pretty much down. And not that I got comfortable, but I thought my days of struggling was over. But they just tell me that the comeback is going to be so severe. It's going to be so vicious. The guy had to break me to this point. And when I come back, I'm not even going to be able to imagine what's in store for me. So that's kind of where I'm at mentally right now. Still hurt. Still sucks when I see stuff. But I was around his camp all week. Greg Jones, all his coaches. It was right next door. Ali was right next door. And, I'm a respectful guy. So we talked and had conversations. Not so much about the fight. But I have not had a chance to run from it, even if I wanted to. You know what I mean? I'm right back on the desk. You know what I mean?
Is there a chance this fight against Lawler doesn't happen in June?
I mean, you want to see the fight?
My problem with the fight is it's one of those things where you beat him so convincingly. Like, what's the point? Well, like how do you top that? How do you top that? So if you go the second round,
I beat him so convincingly, not just in the fight. I beat him in the entire process.
Yeah. So what's the point of running it back?
I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna share this with fans, and I think this will make people want to watch the fight.
Okay.
I'm gonna give you a sneak peek. Nobody knows about this. So when I was leading up to fighting Robbie the first time, Robbie was really emotional about it because he felt like, why would I fight him? We're on the same team, and obviously fight for the same team. So coaches, there was a big fuss on how they were going to split up the coaching time, and they wanted me to come down there, and they wanted me to train at different times, and they wanted me to go in another room, and they wanted to turn cameras off, and there was an argument on who was going to coach who, and you know what I mean. And then it became quarreling, and it became a civil war. And I stepped out the pocket, and I called Dan Lambert and said, Dan, he the champion right now. He got first choice. I'm going to train in Rufus Sport. Okay? Just make sure Dean can come to me, and I'm good. He said, you sure, man? You've been here longer? I said, no. I don't want to start conflict. I don't want to start drama. I don't want to start a war. And it was very emotional. It was like coaches not going against, but just, having odds and, people accusing me and Dean of, getting camera footage and breaking it down. No, I'm just a fucking student of the sport. I'm just good. I don't have to get no fucking camera from the gym to say to start cheating. I never cheated in my life in MMA. I did grab for shorts one time, but I can't help myself. But long story short, it was a lot of drama. He was really emotional. Me and him were cool before then. So it was the victory before the 47-second knockout. I just saw that I got to him. He was doing things he never did. He stopped sparring years back. He started back up sparring hard just for the fight against me. And that really made him change his entire thought of a training camp because he was fighting me. Not because of what I've done in the cage, but when he saw me train, he saw my ability, and he knew that I was underachieving. And he's like, shit, what if that moment that he finally showed the world what he can do is versus me? So then he changes his regimen. When you make too many changes, you know what happened. He just wasn't confident. When I was in a face-off, I kind of saw that he was defeated. And I walked up to Dan Lambert, and I said, Dan, I felt like this one other time, brother. I said, it's not going to be a long night tomorrow. Ask Dan Lambert. Ask him if I told him that. We were outside of Buca de Beppo, about to get on the bus. We just got done eating, and I told him that. Wow. And it's just crazy that how strong your mind is. So now I got to relive what I did in that time. If this fight comes forward, which I believe it will, I think they'll do it the right thing. But I believe that if I take my mind back to the challenger that wanted to win a world title, and unfortunately, you got to do it against somebody that you admire, that you love what they've done. The comeback story was the best in our sport. Humble, respectable guy, dangerous, crazy knockout fire. You know what I mean? Fighter of the year 2 years in a row. You know, beating the who's who of the sport. Guys that beat me, Rory McDonald, and guys like Carlos Condit. I got to fight him again. So I think if I take my mind back to there, I'm not gonna say it's gonna be 47, but it might be 46, 48.
All right. You're into it. I'm into it. Fair enough. Thank you for sharing that, Tyron, and thanks for doing this from your barbershop. It looks like a great place. Shout out to everyone over there. Always great to catch up.
I'm gonna say shout out to Plum because he don't want his government name out there because he didn't do the right thing on his taxes last year.
Oh, okay. My bad. I don't want to put him on blast. Thank you, Tyron. We'll talk to you soon.
All
right. All the best. Great to catch up with Tyron Woodley. Always great to have him on the show. And I really do believe we've never had someone on the program who was getting a haircut in the middle of the interview. Quite frankly, I loved it. I want more of it. Let's see if our next guest is getting a haircut in the middle of this interview. She's fighting the following week. So that's June 29th in Minnesota, July 6th in Las Vegas. It's UFC 239, headlined by John Jones versus Thiago Santos. Co-main event is Amanda Nunes versus our next guest. There she is, Holly Holm, who is not getting a haircut during this interview. She is in her car. Hello, Holly. How are you?
I'm good. And I only get my hair cut like every 3 or 4 months, so there's probably no chance you'd get me when I'm cutting my hair.
Yeah, that's like seeing like Haley's Comet or something. You have like the longest hair I've ever seen. When you get your hair cut, it's not a big cut, right? It's just like a little trim.
No, like an inch.
Okay, just an inch. That's it.
Maybe
How long
2
have you had
inches,
your hair
yeah.
that long for? Like since you were a kid?
No, I actually cut it really short. I had a bob cut, and then kind of grew it. It was like here. My senior pictures is like layered, and like the longest layer is like this. So I've been growing it out since then.
Okay.
I mean, it's been where it's at for a while. Like I just kind of left it where it's at. I don't want it to go any lower than that. It's like all the way to my butt, so it's long enough. I don't want to be sitting on it.
I'm sure you didn't expect to start the interview talking about your hair, but I do appreciate that insight. Last time you were on the show, it was all well and good. It looked like you were fighting in March, and you were excited about fighting on the same card as your teammates, John Jones, Diego Sanchez. And then like a week later, maybe not even a week later, like 4 days later, the fight's off. I feel like we never got some clarity to this situation. What exactly happened?
I think it was just one of those things that, so I had, make like a long story short, I still had one fight left on my current contract. And it was one of those, they wanted to do like renew the contract, like with the UFC. So it was kind of like, well, if we can't come to terms, let's just fight on the current contract. And I think just in talking about it, I think they just, I don't know, said, they would rather, and then, within 24 hours, actually that night they canceled it. They were wanting me to go to Brazil. So I think they just had ulterior thoughts of what they wanted. And it was frustrating for me in the sense that, yes, I was training for this fight and I was so ready for it. I think that's one of the things. So it was never, a lot of people like, how come you pulled out? I never pulled out of the fight. Like, that bothers me the most. I've never pulled out of a fight in my life. So anybody that thinks that can kind of just let that thought go. But I just thought, you know what, I always just try and go with what opportunity is coming. And they cancel the fight. It's like, yeah, it's super frustrating. But if I sit here and just only dwell on that forever, that's not good. I'm just, like, obviously they took the fight out. They're not going to put it back on. And then from what I understand, they thought about putting it back onto the card where we would still be fighting the same night. And I think Aspen Ladd had something going on that she couldn't anymore. And it was just kind of one of these things that, I don't know. So I still kept training for weeks after they canceled it, just in case they might salvage the fight and put it back on the card. And it didn't happen. And you know what? I have this opportunity in front of me now that's an awesome opportunity. So I try to make the most of whatever situation is. And that's what I'm going to do. Now I'm fighting for the title.
Did they want you to go to Brazil? Like, was that a thing that they really pursued?
Yeah, they really, really did want that. And it was just kind of one of those things. I'm like, we need to, at least, if you guys want to make sure that a new contract with you guys is in place before Like, let's not do this again. Set up a fight, and then we're back and forth between old contract, new contract. Let's make sure that one thing's done, and then we'll move to the next. And I'm glad. I'm glad I'm fighting in Vegas. I'm glad I'm fighting on the undercard with John. Gosh, I couldn't be more happy right now. I just want to make sure I'm constantly learning, I'm training, but I don't want to get so worked out. It's like 13 or 14 weeks away. That's like so long to be like on your mind, So I don't want to, in training camp, it's like 24/7 on your mind. So I'm definitely thinking about it when I'm in the gym training, but I'm trying not to let it overwhelm my thoughts, 24 hours a day, because that'll just wear you out. I want to train. I want to enjoy my training with the focus of that fight ahead, but kind of let go of that stress in between, because otherwise training too hard too soon, you'll peak, your body will
Right.
peak too soon. You'll be too wore out by the time the fight comes. And mentally, if you're seriously that stressed out about it, then by the time the fight comes for that many weeks, you're exhausted before the fight even starts, So I want to keep a good balance of that right now.
That was actually my next question, because when we spoke, it was around the end of January, and you seemed to be in a very good place, and it seemed like you were going to peak for the end of March, and then you have to pull back, and then there's the Brazil thing that's lingering, and now it's July. So how do you do that dance mentally? Because now it's April, like we're still 2+ months away. How do you not peak too early?
I think sometimes when I wake up in the morning, because I'm one of those, I'm probably considered to be like an overtrainer anyway. But to me, it helps me mentally to know I'm doing a lot. So, and mental, I think, is more than physical. But at this moment, it's easier for me to, if I get up and there's a certain day, I'm like, you know what, my body's really not feeling well. I'm not going to force going to train because, and by that I mean like maybe I'm not going to go do live wrestling that day. Maybe I'm going to make sure and just do like some strength training and running, to where it's not like actual physical, like, damage on the body, and not necessarily like too much mental. So I'm still training every day, but if there's a day that I kind of feel like, you know what, today I'm just going to see different faces, I'm going to go outside, just be outside, not just be in the gym in that mindset, it's okay for me to do that right now. We do live training every single day at our gym. And so if there's a day that I think, my body's just, my mind's not there, so I'm probably not going to be focused, which means, those are the days that you're going to get injured. And in a fight camp, I would say, you know what, you just need to get on it. But that's the mental thing. And right now, it's like, I still train at least twice a day, and instead of 4. It's like sometimes I still do 3 or 4, and then the next day I'm not going to do that. I'll just maybe go for a run and hit mitts, and then I'll do live training and then go for a run, or depending on my day. So I just kind of take the foot off the gas a little bit.
So you have signed a new 6-fight deal, correct?
Yes.
Do you think this is your last 6-fight deal?
It might be. I don't know. It's hard to say. I'm 37. I know I'm getting older, and everybody keeps saying I'm old. I know my age, guys. I know my age before everybody else knew my age. I know exactly how old I am. I'm 37 and a half to be exact.
Okay.
But I still feel stronger than I was. I feel smarter than I was. I still know that I'm improving. I still know that I'm learning. When I was 23, 24, I thought, my late 20s, I'll be done fighting. And then when I was like 26, 27, I thought, no way will I be done in a couple of years, but 30. And then at 30, I'm like, 35 is like the oldest. I will never fight over 35. And I was 34 when I got my world title in MMA. Think I'm going to stop at 35? No way. And here I have the chance again at 37. Now my limit's 40.
You go. Why not?
Who knows?
45.
Yeah.
Who cares?
I still feel good. I feel as far as my career, yes, I've had some battles here and there, but it's not like I don't feel like I've just taken this like damage my whole career. I feel like I've been very blessed in that aspect. So as long as I want to do it, it's my life. And a lot of people, the way they look at it, I don't care what they say. I always say this: who wrote the book of life? Everybody's path is differently, and everybody else has their idea of what they think I should be doing at this time, at that time, my whole life. I'm glad that, I like to stay focused on the fact that This is my book, and I'm the author. So I'm going to do it when I want to do it.
Yes.
I'll retire when I want to retire.
Could I say something? And I hope you don't take this the wrong way, but obviously after the last interview we had, where you opened up about some of your personal things going on in your life, I now view you in a different lens naturally, and I feel like Holly Holm is living her best life. I don't know if
I do feel like that.
You feel like if.
do.
I know that things can be a little different on social media, what we portray to the world, but it just seems via social media that you are having a great time at life right now. Like, you are really living your best life. Is that accurate?
That is very accurate. I
All right.
100% feel that way. I have a lot of my own time. I don't even feel lonely if I'm by myself. When I'm out, I'm having fun with what I'm doing. I'm really engaging with who I'm with. I don't have other stresses really weighing on me while I'm there. When I'm with people, I'm in the present. I'm not like got this thing in the back of my head. I just feel like I do. I feel happy. I feel good with life. I mean, everybody, like you said, social media always has something. I even think I hear some people saying like, oh, you can totally tell, Holly's different or whatever. It's like, honestly, the way I am on my social media or out or whatever, if I'm being a dork, that's just me. Maybe I was like suppressed with that for a while, but no, I feel great. I feel happy. I feel like I am who I am. And being in the public eye, yes, I think everybody has their ideas of, some people take things a little too seriously. Simple things. I'll put on a song on my social media and be like, oh, I really like this jam. And they'll be like, what did you try that? And I'm like, no, I actually just think it's a good jam. Like there's no like hidden meaning by what the like song says, but like I'm okay. I'm very happy just being myself, and I'm embracing who I am, and what my life has in store right now. I really have. I don't know. If I look at all my blessings I have in my life, gosh, they outweigh the bad for sure. I am so blessed. I've got so many people around me. I'm healthy. I have a job that I love, and I have friends that I have much fun with, and I have freedom to do whatever I want and the means to be able to do it. So yes, I do. I feel good. I'm happy.
That is great to hear. And it certainly comes across that way.
Good.
The facts are you are 0-3 in your last 3 title fights. Do you feel like this is your last crack at a UFC belt?
I feel like I definitely, in all honesty, I have everything weighing on this fight. A lot of people thought maybe the Ronda Rousey fight had, more stresses behind it, but no, I had nothing to lose there. If I would have lost that fight, people wouldn't look at it the way they look at it now. Now that they've seen the success, now it's like, especially coming off of having 3 losses in the last 5 and having, this opportunity again. I know there's a lot of negative talk about it. Oh, another title fight. And I understand, you guys are looking at the win-loss record. How do I have another title fight? It's not that. It's that when you look at who else is out there and who else to make the fight and who's capable, I know I'm capable of beating her, and I know I'm capable of having that belt again. And that's what it comes down to. Keep in mind, a lot of those fights were actually not even in my weight class, but at 145. Not an excuse, 100%. Every single one of those losses, I didn't perform certain things right. I take all responsibility for that. I was taught what I needed to do right. I was capable, and I didn't make it happen. So, but I think a lot of people can really, like, when they don't look at all the facts and stuff, they can be pretty brutal about it. But most of the people that say that are definitely the people that would never do this for a living. So they can sit there and there's a reason why I'm doing it, and they're not. So it's okay. If there weren't people like that, then there wouldn't be the curiosity. Is she really going to do it this time? That's why people love to watch fighting. It's unknown. They don't know what's going to happen in a fight. It's unpredictable. The future is unknown, and it can change like this. With one punch, a fight can be over. One kick, a fight can be over. You can be winning a fight and then get submitted right before the end of the last round. So, you know what? I'm glad that there's people that love me. I'm glad there's people that hate me, because guess what? That is what creates people's excitement to watch fighting. And I love to make the people who support me, I love to make them proud. And the people who are hating, I love to try and prove them wrong. So there's no doubt about it. You can love me, you can hate me, whatever. It motivates me either way.
Yes, as long as they're watching, buying the pay-per-views,
That's
all
right.
that matters. The tickets.
And you're watching for a reason, because and this is not in any cocky way, by the way. It's just kind of factual.
No, it is factual.
That they're watching because what we're doing in our life is that exciting. Like, we're entertaining you, so you're watching for a certain reason, because what I do is it's not something that everybody can just do. I think anybody's capable if they really want to try, but you definitely have to have like we're still different. If you choose this for a career, I don't care what anybody says, because you're literally just throwing yourself out there, like putting yourself in the most vulnerable place you can be, and be like, I believe I can do this. And then you might be able to be made a fool of yourself in 2 seconds, right after you're like, yeah, I can do this. I signed the contract. I'm ready to go. You know, there's a lot of things that motivate me for this fight. I've always been one of those that I want to do something that's never been done before. From boxing, I wanted to be the first boxing champion that went in and got a title in MMA, and I was able to do that. Male or female, there still hasn't been another one. And now I've lost the belt, but there's other things I want to do. It's been a first time ever. There's no female I don't even know if there's actually any male. I'm not really sure about the male. I'm gonna have to really check on this, but none of them have lost the belt and been able to come back and fight for it and get it again. I want to be able to show that I can rise again. We have 2 of us fighting the same night for a belt back to back, and to be able to both take those belts home. How awesome would that be? If I talk too sincere about it, I will cry. I would love to be able to have my coaches in there with both of us with our belts, like just all the work they put into us. There's a lot of things that I picture that are motivation, and those are the things that keep me wanting to learn. Those are the things that keep me going to the gym, and those are the things that keep me wanting to feel like I'm a beginner, that I have so much to do. And if I lose this fight, oh, Holly should retire. And if I win, oh my gosh, see, we knew she could do it. So they're going to say one or the other. I want to go with the latter. I want to go with, hey, we knew she could do it. She's going to do it again. So I don't know. I'm excited about it. I am. And I get to really, this is what you call living the life of a dream. A lot of people dream about this. In a dream, you're thinking, oh my gosh, I had this dream that I was getting ready to fight for the title again, and then I got it. That's a dream that I can make come true, and that's what I want to do.
I could tell you were getting emotional there, talking about your coaches.
I do.
Yeah.
I love my team, and I love my job. And if I talk too in depth about it, I will cry.
Why? Why does that make you so emotional?
In a good way. They're like good tears. It's like passion. If I didn't care, if I could just simply talk about it like matter of factually, then maybe maybe that would make me second guess like where my heart is at in my career. You know, the fact that when I talk about it, I still get fired up. When Michelle was fighting on Saturday, I think every single one of my neighbors heard me. I try and keep composed when I'm like in front of people. When I'm by myself, like any like really good thing, I'm like, yes, Michelle. I'm like punching the air. I'm like just so proud. You know what I mean? And by the time the fight's over, I'm crying. I'm so happy for her because I know how much she puts into it. And it's just a passion being shared. And in order to do this sport, you have to have that. You have to have that passion in you. Mr. Winkler John and I actually kind of joke all the time. We're like, in order to do this, you kind of have to be like a little off, right? So, like as far as the fact that you just like crave something that much, you know, you have to feel that there has to be that inside of you, or else you're not going to succeed in it. Because if it's just kind of like, then you fall into that category of like, you know, not if you win or lose, just, you know, if you enjoy yourself. No, I hate when I lose. And I love it when I win. I'm not okay with the other. I don't think, I don't want fight of the night. That means I took too many shots. I want performance of the night, knockout of the night, submission, any of that, I'll take. I don't want fight of the night. That means I took too much. I don't want like, oh, well, at least, you know, you went this far with this person, or at least you did this much. No, I don't want to, at least I did this or that. I want to 100% do it. I don't want to almost do it. I want to do it, you know, and in order to really feel that way, like, I think that's the only way to really like succeed with what you're doing. Because when you're in there, it's so easily to like take the mental, you can just stop a fight in no time when you feel like that pressure's on you, you know, and you have to really still want that. And I'm glad that I still feel that. I'm glad that I still feel that passion. I mean, I don't know what I'm going to do when I'm done fighting, because I don't think that will ever be completely gone. I don't know. I can see how fighters have a hard time retiring.
Yes, absolutely. That is the big dilemma that every fighter has. And we could talk about that at length. Unfortunately, we're out of time, but I do want to ask you
All
one
right.
last quick thing.
Okay.
Your last win was at 145. She's the 145 and 135 champion. Was there any talk of this fight happening at 145, or was it always 135?
Always 135. I think after the 145, I think she said she wanted to go back. But honestly, I don't even know.
Okay.
That's what I heard she said, but let's not put that. I'm not saying that's the factual thing. I don't really know. I think she said she wanted to go back to 35. I've been wanting to go back. I mean, my last fight was supposed to be at 35. I don't know. It just kind of went that way, and I didn't. It never really was talked about at 45. So
as long as it's for a belt, that's the main thing. And it is for a belt. 135, July 6th, Las Vegas. Holly, I always love talking to you, but I got to say, the last two,
Thank you.
It's a whole different ball game. This new Holly is great. Keep doing you. Keep living this life.
I will. Thank you.
Keep being happy. It's amazing. And I'm really happy you're getting this title fight. Good luck in training. We'll see you out there in Vegas.
Thank you. Thanks for your time.
All right, there she is, Holly Holm, new Holly Holm. And I got to say, she is different. She is happy. She is more open, verbose, emotional, all very interesting. I love it. All right, so that's the Holly Holm story. Now, last week, a lot of you were asking me, where's Thug Nasty? Where's Bryce Mitchell coming off his win over Bobby Moffett? Why isn't he on the show? I wanted to give him a week to go home, get settled, see how life has changed. Now let us say hello to Thug Nasty, Bryce Mitchell. There he is, Arkansas's own Bryce Mitchell. Bryce, how are you?
Good, brother, man. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Where are you coming to us from, Bryce?
Good old Searcy, Arkansas.
All right.
Same trailer.
Same trailer?
Yes, sir. Ain't changed a bit.
Do you still have the manure on the ground there? The poop on the ground?
Oh, yeah. There's dog shit, cow shit. You know, if my toilet backs up, I'll go shit out there.
What? Wait, is the poop in the trailer or outside the trailer?
The dogs and the cows, they go wherever they want.
Okay.
But the dogs are actually smart enough to not go right by the trailer. But yeah, there's shit everywhere.
And now, are we now going to try to improve that after what your last fight? You know, you look really good. Things are going well. Are we going to try to improve the situation?
Yes, sir. Gonna put some gravel out there, get a nice little driveway, and then put a fence around the driveway so cows and dogs and whatnot can't shit all in it.
Okay.
Everything will be taken care of. It's just gonna take a little bit of time.
So do you live in that trailer alone?
Yes, sir, I do.
And is it in like a trailer park?
No, I live out in the field.
Okay. And you like that, right? Like you chose this life.
Yeah, I wanted to get. I lived in apartments before. I really don't like them. You got other people keeping you up, and they're sketchy too. And I'd just rather live out by myself, alone, with less neighbors. I do got one or two neighbors that I do talk to a lot, so that's good.
And no one bothers you out there?
No, sir, not very often.
Okay. And I feel like this is so good because you're coming off a great win. Just 9 or so days ago in Nashville, and now I feel like you can move past from being the guy who had his scrotum all turned up by the power drill, right? Like now you're a guy on a winning streak in the UFC, right?
Yeah, I'm sure people still ain't forgot about that, but yeah, that's how I've always seen myself as the fighter, not the not the dude that got his nuts drilled up. But some people only know me for that, and they don't even know anything about me fighting. They know me, and they literally come up and ask about my nuts. They don't know anything about me fighting or anything.
Are you tired of talking about it?
I mean, I am, but it's, I understand people want to hear, and I'm down to talk about whatever.
Could I just ask, because it's been a while since I've talked to you, it's been several months, like, is everything okay now? Like, are you fully healed?
Oh, yeah. It's
all
good.
good.
I'm firing on all cylinders, man.
Yeah. I'd imagine in more ways than one. But are there any ill effects?
No, it's full capacity.
Okay.
I'm at full capacity.
Did you have any concerns at the fight itself? Like, kicks or anything like that? Any worries? Knees?
No, I took long enough to heal that I knew everything was going to be pretty much the same. What was funny, though, is when I was getting a physical for that fight, they got to give you a physical. They do blood work, make sure you ain't got nothing dirty in your blood and all that stuff. Well, I was getting a physical, and the doctor, he's like poking up on my nuts, and he's like looking for hernias or whatever, and he says, "So you got any testicular pain?" And I said, "Man, I got a funny story for you, but it's not, I'm not in any pain right now." And he said, "What happened?" I told him the story.
Oh my God.
He said, "You're kidding me." See, I said, "Look at that scar right there." I mean, he was down there, but he was already down there. I said, "Look at that scar." And he, he looked at the scar and he said, "Oh, wow. You ain't kidding."
Wow. He's like the one person left on this earth that hadn't heard the story.
I can't hear you very well. What was that, brother?
I said I think he's the last person left on this planet who had not heard that story.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
That is wild. Okay, so I'm happy you moved on from that. You were very fired up after that win. Like, I don't know, you're a pretty mild-mannered guy, but you were in that post-fight interview, you were super fired up about Arkansas. Why were you so fired up?
I've just been saving up that anger for a couple months. Just been mad about the whole shorts situation. I used to fight in camo shorts every fight, so I've been saving that up for a while. And yeah, it felt good to get that off my chest, actually.
So the shorts, or the lack thereof, the lack of the camo shorts, this really bothers you. Why does it bother you so much?
I just think that, like back in the day, remember when Iceman fought and he had them blue trunks with the white little icicles on the bottom?
Yes.
Remember when Matt Hughes always had camo? What did Rich Franklin have? Pink and brown.
Right.
What did Anderson Silva have? Black and yellow. These people, it's part of their personality. We're the ones fighting. I think that we ought to at least wear what we want to wear. If I want to wear something with camo, I think that'd be cool, and I think people back home would like it more too. So it's not just for me; it's for my buddies and whatnot.
Bryce, if you were in front of me right now, I'd give you a hug, because I have been saying these exact same things for the last few years. This is my main issue with the Reebok deal. The whole point of the fight game is to pick your favorite fighter based off of his personality and how he dresses. Remember Mike Tyson used to come out with the black shorts and the black boots, no socks and all that? Like, that's a part of who they are, and you nailed all the best examples, right? Chuck Liddell, Matt Hughes, Rich Franklin, Anderson Silva, and there are more. GSP coming out in the gi. I mean, even a Joanne Calderwood coming out in her kilt. Like, that's a part of who you are. They're taking that away from you. They're robbing you of that. So I commend you for actually bringing this up, because it really bugs me that you all look the same. The fight game should not be uniform. Fighters should not be uniform. You should not look the same. That's a big mistake in my opinion.
I mean, I agree. At the end of the day, I'm a fighter. I'm going to go out there and fight in some pink Speedo. If you make me fight in a pink Speedo, that's what I do to get paid. But if I had a say in it and I had it my way, I'd pick camo shorts every damn time. No doubt. I'd be out there in camo shorts and some good looking camo shorts too, like some Mossy Oak style camo. You know what I mean? Just some good quality camo. If they make me some camo shorts but the camo ain't right, I don't even want to wear them.
Wow.
I want the kind of camo that I want on there, and. Yeah, so I agree. It just takes a little bit of personality away from the fighters. But like I said, I'm a fighter. I'll go out there and fight. I'll fight bare ass. If they tell me you got to fight bare ass, I'll go fight bare ass. But, I'd rather fight in camo shorts.
Yes, I hope that doesn't, it doesn't come to you having to fight bare ass. Now, I understand, according to your management team, that Reebok has made you camo shorts. Do you know about this?
My manager spoke briefly to me about it. I hope that they did. I really don't know, though, man. I don't know enough to tell you to confirm. I spoke to my manager briefly about it, and he said they're definitely working on it. So they're trying. They're making an attempt to, but I don't know if that'll flourish or whatever.
Are they going to let you fight in these camo shorts? Is that your understanding?
I'm hoping so.
Okay.
If not, it's just a waste of time making them. They ought to let me fight in them.
Yeah.
And like I said, I think people back home would like that. I think it makes you stand out. It makes you more marketable and stuff like that.
They need to figure this out. And I appreciate you sticking your neck out there and talking about this. In fact, your manager, Matt, has actually sent me a photo of the camo shorts. I'm trying to figure out a way to show them to you, because he told me that you have not seen them yet, and I want to get your approval.
He just texted me too. I didn't know if I could read that text and then the phone call would end or not, so I just kind of looked at it sideways.
Have you seen them?
No, sir, I ain't seen them.
You want to look at them right now and tell us what you think?
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah.
No,
I'll check 'em out.
did he send you the picture?
Yes, sir, he did.
Okay, so look at it right now.
Will it drop the phone call or whatever?
Oh, you can't minimize it first? I guess that's not a good look. Okay, I'm going to figure it out.
I don't know if
All right,
will
here it
or
is.
not.
Look,
I'm worried. It's technology.
I'm gonna show it to you right now. Okay, we're gonna do this right now. All right, here it is.
Okay.
Here are the camo short. Wait 1 second. This is. I want to get your honest reaction because guess what? If you don't like them, we're gonna have Reebok make you different ones. That's just the way it's gonna be. Okay, let's see. Can you see that?
Check it out.
Can you see that right there? I don't know. I don't know if I can make it. There it is. Boom. Look at that. Look at that. Whoop, 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 whoop. Wait, which camera? Oh, there. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think?
Huh. That ain't bad looking. That ain't bad looking, man. I had to look at them closer and everything.
What do you think? There it is. There it is
again. And
again.
they might not be finalized either.
What do you think? I feel like you're not sold.
That ain't bad looking.
I feel like you're not sold.
That ain't bad looking. I might be able to add in a little bit of some brush looking stuff. You know, I wanted to look like I come straight out the brush, like I was turkey hunting. You know what I mean?
Okay. So they need to get back to the drawing board.
I'm gonna look at that. I'm gonna check it out. That's a hell of a start. I will say that.
Oh.
If I got them to go ahead and make that, that's a good sign. That's a real good sign. I'm hoping that they come through on the shorts.
Okay.
Because why would they make them but then not let me fight in them?
Sure.
You know?
That's a good point. And you are so proud of where you're from. I love that about you. You are so proud of Arkansas. Why are you so proud to be from Arkansas?
My great grandma was from here. She lived here, died here on a farm. My grandma, she was raised on a farm. She lived here, died here. My mom, she was born here, raised here, lived here, probably gonna die here. I'm probably gonna do the same. I just love it down here. There's nowhere else I'd rather be. And over the course of however many years I've been training, just people have been telling me all the time, you know, that Arkansas, you can't be good from Arkansas. You're never going to reach your full potential. You're never going to be good or this or that. And so that kind of stuff just sits in the back of my head, and it bothers me. And so, you know, that I just love where I'm from, and to hear other people say that you can't make it from here, from there, whatever, I think it's all a bunch of nonsense. But you know, we'll see. I'll try to prove them wrong.
Is the dream to get the UFC to come to Arkansas to have an event there headlined by you?
Oh yeah, that's Little Rock right there. Put it right there in that Alltel Arena.
You'll sell it out.
Well, we'll sell that thing out, man. You put me, Violent Bob Ross, Downtown, T.J. Brown, Thomas Gifford, Wade Johnson. You put some Arkansas boys in that Little Rock Arena, I guarantee you we could sell it out, man.
I love it. And so when do you want to return? What's your plan?
Just, you know, I told them 5-6 months off. Just, you know, it's not like I'm being a lazy bastard and just sitting in here eating Cheetos all day and not training. I'm training. If I was, you know, just being lazy and wanting to take time off, then I could see him get mad at me. But I'm taking time off to train more. So my next fight, I'll look better. And there's some stuff I need to work on. So I think that they'll give me that time off. And, yeah, I'll come back even better than I was last fight.
Anyone in particular you want?
No, I don't want to fight anybody in particular. I just fight whoever they tell me to.
Okay. And are we still hunting the squirrels? Are we still having squirrel soup?
Right now I got some goose meat on me and some deer meat. I ate all my squirrels a while back.
Okay.
But I don't know when the season starts again. It ended February 28th, so I ain't been since then. But it starts up in a couple months. But, yeah, I've ate all the squirrels. I just got deer meat on me right now.
Okay. All right. We'll leave it at that. Bryce, well done, my man. Congrats on the win. I hope you like the shorts. And if you don't, let us know. We're going to work on getting you better shorts, all right?
Okay, brother. I appreciate it, man. I'm just happy because to me it represents where I'm from. I mean, it means a lot to me. I mean, I can't even put it into words. It represents years and years of work and teammates and friends and everything helping me get where I want to be. It's a way I can represent them.
I appreciate that, and I know that you're telling us the truth. All the best to you. We'll talk to you very soon.
All right, thanks for having me, brother. Peace out.
All right, there he is, Bryce Mitchell. What a character. Last 3 fights have ended in decision after starting his career with 8 straight submissions. That's okay. He is on a roll. Thug Nasty, 7 of 8 career submissions wins by choke, 5 via RNC, 2 by triangle, and most importantly, he likes to have squirrel soup. I wonder if our next guest likes to have squirrel soup. Look at this. Look what the cat has dragged in. My old pal. Holy smokes. The war. Look at this. The War Master.
I know.
Look at this.
We have come to destroy pitiful capitalist American pig dogs.
How are you?
I'm great. Out back east, finally in studio with my manager at large.
Let's hug. Oh, it's good to see you. Look at this guy. Wow, you look great. You too. Let me talk in front of the microphone here so that we actually can hear each other.
Yeah, just a little bit of bromance here in the studios. We're bringing the love in the air.
It's been a while.
Yeah, this is no April Fool's, by the way.
Yes, you are actually. And by the way, you look fantastic.
And that was me happy to see you. It was not a gun in my pocket.
But you do look great.
Thanks.
I like your beard.
It's the exfoliating.
Yeah. Do you do that? Like, is that actually natural? Is it white?
I just put like a high grit sandpaper on my sparring partner's gloves.
Seriously, how do you
I'm
make
so
it that
goddamn metal?
This is dyed, right?
No,
it's not.
Well, yeah, I would dye it in streaks of white as it penetrates through my red beard.
It's like perfect right here, and then here it's like reddish.
It's just a steady hand, my man. It's just a steady hand.
Well done.
Or this one,
yes.
Perhaps.
Have you ever had squirrel soup before?
I haven't, but I'm game. You know, I've eaten live octopus sashimi.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they whack it up, send the tentacles out, and you have to fight your meal all the way through the process.
Okay. Not as bad as squirrels though. Like that is
I
pretty
don't know.
gross.
I mean, see, the squirrels are dead, right?
Yes.
They've been simmering. Maybe in maybe like a hunter stew style with some cream of mushroom soup, or I don't know. The guy, I'm sure, what was his name?
Bryce Mitchell, yeah.
I'm sure Bryce Mitchell has an old time, like maybe passed down from his great grandpappy recipe for squirrel soup. Might be pretty tasty.
Okay.
I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt,
yes.
Bryce.
I'm not willing to do so, but I'm happy that you are.
Not a squirrel connoisseur.
Oh, no.
You cut the line there at rodent and vermin.
He's talking about squirrel season. Squirrel season. Yes.
Yeah, it's on spring. It's on their spring break usually.
You know, I have to say, it's quite the trek to come up here. So I appreciate you doing this.
It is. It was fraught with long and arduous battles. A few people got dysentery on the way.
Okay.
We're really glad to be here.
Have you ever been to the ESPN campus before?
No, I think it was just recently that they allowed me within 100 yards of it.
Yeah. Well, I think what I had heard from Leland, your manager,
well, yeah,
that you were waiting for me to finally come to the Worldwide Leader, and then thus you will step foot here for the first time. You were going to come to talk to any Johnny come lately. You were going to come to your old pal.
That's right. You know, for you, I would do it.
We've come a long way, right?
We have come a long way. Although I need to get you a figurine here. I should have thought of that. Of course I do. I don't have a bobblehead per se, but I've got those HAO Pride figures.
Oh,
I have a few
of
those still.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd be honored to have it here.
I would be honored to have it here.
So you are here for a few reasons.
Yes.
Not just here physically, but you're here on the East Coast because this Thursday,
Josh Barnett's Bloodsport at the White Eagle Hall in Jersey City.
Now, what is this for those that don't know?
This is a bunch of idiotic men are going to get in a ring with no ropes and beat the living hell out of each other, all for everyone's entertainment.
Wow.
But basically, part of this, every WrestleMania, there's what they call WrestleMania week now, where all the indie federations will ascend onto the city that WrestleMania is happening in. The fans are already there. The talent's already there. So you'll have shows, multiple a day, nonstop, all through the week leading into WrestleMania. Well, Game Changer Wrestling has been doing a really killer job with producing not just their own sort of series of shows, but their own specific individual shows like Bloodsport, which was with Matt Riddle last year, and Joey Janela's Spring Break, which is always selling out, among other projects that they have going on, like Orange Cassidy is having a show or whatever, different things all based around WrestleMania this week. Well, since Matt Riddle went to the WWE, he was no longer able to be a part of this Bloodsport project. So Game Changer came to me and asked if I would take it on, and I said, I'm into it. I love a Josh Barnett above title show, but the thing is, if it's got my name on it, it has to have my stamp of approval. I got to have my hands in it. So I've put a lot of time into booking, putting these matches together, working on the look and the feel alongside Game Changer, and it's really been a pleasure to work with them. And we have a sold-out show. I have a main event of me versus another catch wrestling legend. I just say it that way? I guess I did. Minoru Suzuki. We both come from that Gotch lineage, and although I guess I'll be stepping in the ring more on the behest of Billy Robinson on that night. And then we have Hideki Suzuki, not related.
Okay.
One of Billy Robinson's oldest, most developed students from Japan. He will be taking on a guy that I've worked with as well, Timothy Thatcher, in a semi-main event. We have Dan Severn versus Frank Mir. Frank Mir making his pro wrestling debut.
That is wild.
Yeah.
Did you orchestrate this?
Actually, Game Changer was the one to bring Frank Mir to the table. They had Dan Severn on the show last year, and that worked out quite well, of course. And this year, I'm talking to Brett, and he goes, "Hey, what do you think of the idea of this?" And I just said, "Whoa, wait, Frank Mir wants to wrestle? Okay. Yeah, I think we can work with this." And for a debut, I think that this is the kind of product that is going to best suit him as well.
So when you say no ropes,
yes. So it's like the concept of blood sport. So I don't. We're not. There isn't a ring out per se, but there's no ropes. So
is it on a platform?
It is on a wrestling ring with no ropes.
Wow, that's got to be difficult, right?
If you're falling off of it, yeah. It's a pretty hard night.
Wow. Now, so is this considered catch wrestling?
Yes, shoot style, professional wrestling, I would say.
So this is pro wrestling.
Yes, it is. But but my tagline from the get has been, this is going to be the hardest hitting event of WrestleMania week. We're going to outwork, out-hit, push the levels of pro wrestling within the more strict sense of the word than any other show, including WrestleMania.
How often are you doing pro wrestling these days?
Not that often, and usually it's just sort of a whim unless I'm going to do something with a bigger show. But it's fun. It keeps me busy as if I've needed any reason to do that. Right. I'm going to Russia here twice in the span of just 2 months. Why? Sending AJ Bryant, my 145-pound fighter, who is the reigning and defending CXF featherweight champion in California. We picked up a last-minute fight to go over to MFP over in Khabarovsk, and he's going to fight. It's a place where they don't really speak any English whatsoever, and when you pull out your Google Translate and you show it to them, they just roll their eyes.
Wow!
Even though I'm pretty sure it's correct, but it's a bit of a pain in the ass. However, Khabarovsk is up in the Ural region, I guess. Maybe I'm getting that wrong. The Amur. They love their tigers up there.
Okay.
The Amur tiger.
When's that?
That's going to be April 13th. April 13th. Okay. And he's fighting Evgeny Bad Boy. That's his nickname. Right. That should be a good scrap. And then I'm sending Victor Henry back over to RCC, fresh off of his deep World Championship title match win over Yuki Motoya.
He's won 4 in a row, I think, Henry, right?
5 or 6.
Oh, really?
He's like 16-4 right now, or 17-4. He beat Kyler Phillips, who got a contract into the UFC.
Yeah, how'd that happen?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I've spoken to Sean Shelby. He knows who Victor Henry is. When they want to come to the table, then I guess we could have a discussion about that. But till then, I got to keep this kid active and moving. And RCC was really, really hospitable to us the last time we were over there. And we had a great opponent in Denis Lavrentiev, who was like a multiple-time Russian national judo champion, a real killer athlete on the rise, and it was a good challenge for Victor, but he was able to overcome with a unanimous decision. And that was coming off of also a win with knocking out Takafumi Otsuka, also in deep. So he's really been doing some big things. And, you can wait to try and land that big fish, or you can go out there and keep fishing. And right now we're fishing. Okay.
So that's all this. So you're doing this wrestling match on Thursday.
Yes.
You've got your team that you're still training.
I'm even doing a seminar on Wednesday with Hideki Suzuki teaching catch wrestling.
Where?
Also at the White Eagle Hall in Jersey. Got a little 2-for-1 on that guy.
All right.
Might as well.
I like that. Okay, so if you're in the Jersey area or the New York area, if you're coming here for WrestleMania, there's a lot to do.
Right.
By the way, are you going to WrestleMania?
I am not, but I will be at NXT to watch my student Shayna Baszler defend her NXT Women's title.
Yes.
Ought to
that's
be
amazing.
a hell of a show. Also, for anyone that can't, obviously that you can't make it to the show since it's sold out for Bloodsport, it's also on Fight TV.
Okay, and that's FIT.
Yeah, I know. Not the way you think to spell it.
That's right.
But
it's important.
Yeah, well, maybe they were thinking more of the demographic of us fight athletes.
You can't spell?
Yeah, pretty much.
Or
Yeah,
kids.
we get our
Less
our
letters.
spelling competence punched out of us.
Shayna's killing it.
Shayna's doing a hell of a job, and
Better than you expected?
no, not at all.
Okay.
I expected great things out of her. In fact, mainly because I feel like when you come from that legit background, it's a lot easier to add any flourishes or any other elements to what it is you do, because your foundation of always being able to wrestle means you can put yourself into whatever position you need to be in. You can safely control your opponent. You're not afraid to get hit. You're not afraid to hit. You know how to do all these things. 100%. If you're now dialing it back or working, it's going to be a lot easier. And then just allowing her to be comfortable in the ring already, and then let that personality come out more and more and more, and not have to really think about it so much.
Is she ready for the call up?
Oh, hell yeah.
It's taking so long. I feel like
You know what? They have a plan, you know?
Oh, they do?
They have a plan. I don't know what that plan is.
Okay.
I don't know that they always know what that plan is.
I feel like she consults with you,
She
right?
consults with me, but I mean, often they don't really give a whole lot of heads up to the athletes as to what's going to come next. And I think a lot of that is the very reactive nature of professional wrestling. Like Becky Lynch now is in this big WWE title picture with Ronda Rousey and Charlotte Flair. And we got to be honest, strictly because she got socked in the nose in this Women's Royal Rumble. Her nose is broke. She's bleeding all over the place, and she just takes the moment and runs with it. And
everything changed.
It just, yeah, exactly. So as things like this happen, I mean, there could be this grand scheme, and then all of a sudden, kaboom! This big thing comes out of nowhere, and it's like, well, we got to capitalize on it. So let's run with that. And so, pro wrestling, they have long-term plans, obviously, but they're always to be determined.
Can I get your honest thoughts on Ronda?
Honest thoughts?
Yes. You're always honest.
Yeah,
You're
for the most part.
But what's your take on her? Now, she's a year into it, right, as an active wrestler?
I think she's really acclimated herself well. I've always got my nitpicks when it comes to how I feel the product of wrestling should be done. And I wouldn't lay any of that on Ronda or anybody else in this case. But I think from what I've seen, she's had great impact, shown tenacity in the ring, and made things look like she really meant it. That intent is really important. And she's obviously captured people's attention. And of course, that goes both ways. You know, if people are complaining about her, it's the same as if they're saying how much they love her, right? Because people are caring. And now we have a first ever women's WrestleMania headlining.
Yeah, main event.
That's big things, you know, and that's great that it shows that not only does the WWE have, they have the belief in them to carry the event, but also it's just showing that the women, when you have the right athletes step up, they can draw. You know, they're capable. They can do it. And that's just to say that in combat sports, it's really not about your gender. It's about if you capture the audience. You capture the audience, they're yours. You know, Ronda earned me throughout my career, and it's because, you know, at her peak, man, she was doing big numbers and doing big things. So,
what about the mic skills?
Well, you know, that's tough too, because I don't know how much someone is working with Ronda on how to deliver her persona. So I've been working with Shayna since day one, since MMA even. And so when she got out there to professional wrestling, she just keeps building on what she's already done. And what you see when she is on social media and the things, I mean, it's all her. But a lot of people, especially once they get up to WWE, they tend to have scripts written all out for them and everything like that. And I can't say I'm a fan of the breaking the fourth wall, talking about professional wrestling being. I mean, I feel like that there's no good way that goes, because then if Ronda loses or she's selling or whatever, it's like, oh, you said it was fake. Now the fake guy's beating your ass.
Right.
Well, that doesn't help anyone. Plus, it deteriorates everyone in the game.
Right.
You know, I'm very much a proponent of keeping kayfabe as much as possible. I know that that's not something that's viable in this current social media, exposure era, exposure of everything. But I feel like the more you can do to keep people's suspension of disbelief engaged, the better off you're going to be. Because ultimately, you're not really going out there. It's not the moves, it's not the physical sense so much. It's what you pull out of them in an emotional sense. As much as you can keep that engaged and intact, and you manipulate that, the better off you're going to be, and the more invested they're going to become.
I couldn't agree more.
Or, you just molaram, suraram, and you just kalima their heart right out.
Yes.
Yes.
Put it in a paper bag.
Yeah.
Take it to go.
Might as well, yeah.
Later.
Drink
With
it on
your
the bus.
squirrel soup.
With your
Nice
squirrel
little
soup.
appetizer.
But, pro wrestling aside, I'm also still working in the entertainment business.
Yes.
And I will be...
You have a new show coming out, right?
I do have a new show coming out.
I think we actually prematurely played the teaser for the show, so I think now would be the appropriate time. Corporate Jake was a little in the back there. He was a little trigger happy. Tell us about this new show.
Well, this new show
is
is not all that new. It is the second season of the Challenger Muay Thai series.
Okay.
And the first season was an immense success. It was nominated for an international Emmy, and it was shown on the Sony and AXN network across like 17 different Asian countries. And now they're looking to step it up and bring it to a broader audience. We're shopping it here to the U.S. And, to spice up that deal, they needed a handsome, effervescent, and charming host.
Yes.
That wasn't available.
Okay.
But apparently they got my phone number off of a bathroom stall.
Yeah.
And thought, what the hell?
You're the host.
So I'm the host.
Wow. Have you shot it yet?
We have not shot it yet. We will be shooting it in Malaysia. We'll have male and female fighters from all over the world participating in this. It is a reality format, Ultimate Fighter style, as those that are familiar with these kind of shows. But the level of Thai boxing in the first season was phenomenal, and there's no doubt in my mind that we're going to be able to assemble another star-studded cast for this whole thing. There's a lot of money on the line, which will bring people out, but also a lot of notoriety, and the show looks fantastic. And who wouldn't want to be a part of something that could really elevate your status that way?
When do you film that?
I believe we're going to be filming it late summer.
Okay.
So I'm going to have to be sure to get a pretty decent tan so that I don't just turn into a piece of bacon on air. Yeah.
The reason I was asking
Very white.
Okay, so I'm trying to figure out your schedule here because you've got a lot going on. You've got your own fighters that you're training, you're doing your pro wrestling thing. But to the best of my knowledge,
before I even flew here on an overnight, on a red eye, I called Beat the Streets LA with Olympic gold medalist Helen Maroulis.
What was that's
Hollywood versus
wrestling, right?
Yes, amateur freestyle wrestling with Team USA women versus Team India's women.
Wow.
And it was something that got brought to my attention from a friend and someone I've coached a bit in the past, Mallory Velty, who is a world bronze medalist for the U.S. team, and she even defeated an Olympic bronze medalist in her match against India.
Wow. Yeah,
6-4. It was fantastic.
You were doing color commentary.
And then I immediately grabbed my luggage, zoomed out here because I knew that your smiling face would be meeting me.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that very much. I was wondering because I saw on your Instagram that you were doing that. I didn't know if that was like a later gram. I was getting a little nervous, to be honest. I was like, wait, how's he going to make it here in time? Thank God for no flight delays.
Lots of coffee.
But it has been since 2016. I mean, that's the real reason why you're like, we love Josh Barnett, the wrestler. We love Josh Barnett, the commentator. But we like Josh Barnett, the fighter, too.
Yeah.
And it's been a while.
It has been a while.
September of 2016 when you beat Andrei Arlovsky.
That's right.
That feels like a decade ago.
In a way, it does. I think in internet years, it is literally a decade.
So much has happened.
Yes. There was that whole debacle that I had to go through, which seems to has streamlined the process for other athletes now so that they don't have to actually serve any penitence whatsoever, nor have their careers held online. waiting.
Remind people, December of 2017, USADA said that you were provisionally suspended because you failed an out-of-competition drug test.
Correct.
You then found out that it was due to a contaminated supplement.
Yep.
You essentially went through arbitration.
Yep.
Arbitration took an ungodly amount of time.
Yes.
What was it, 18 months?
Yeah, they wanted to, even after having all the full results, blind testing on the same supplement, unopened, bought on their own, having everything proven to them, they still wanted to put the hammer on me.
Wow.
And I just refused. I refused. I would not accept any of their sanctions, any of their punishments. I'm like, there's no way I'm going to take guilt and fault for this. This is ridiculous. You know, I understand the intent of clean sport 100%, but this is beyond that. This is trying to make oneself look capable and useful by how much they punish, not, you know, how actually dedicated they are to helping the athletes out there and keeping a clean sport. And so, you know, I had to take them all the way to the very end, then go to arbitration, paying my own money, mind you.
Wow.
Paid my own money to have, I couldn't tell you off the top of my head, but too much.
Okay.
I'll give you that. And taking my court above all the way as far as we could go and winning.
Yeah.
Beating them out.
Completely exonerated.
Yes.
Incredible. It was an incredible statement. Like they said, you did not cheat. You did not knowingly cheat. You are a clean
Correct.
athlete, all this stuff and more. But you were on the sidelines for a very long time.
Yes, for a very long time.
Like almost 2 years.
Yeah.
That's
Although,
crazy.
you know, I guess some athletes don't have to go through that now.
What are you referring to?
You can do their own research.
What do you make of that?
I don't.
You're
Yeah,
referring
here's
to
the
John
thing.
Jones, right?
Here's the thing.
Yes.
I ain't casting side eyes at him.
Okay.
That's not my issue.
Right.
He's not the one who created the system.
Right.
He's just a part of whatever goes on.
Right.
Whatever his issues are, whatever the things are, and I'm not here to throw guilt on that dude. I'm not interested in his story. I'm only interested in how the people I dealt with him.
Right. Do you feel like they're playing favorites?
100%. That's what it appears.
Right.
That's just my opinion.
Right. Well, I think a lot of people have questioned whether or not the same set of circumstances would happen to a lesser known fighter, a lesser draw, if you will, a non-champion. I think that's a valid question to ask.
I think that if you were a person that was invested in trying to research that, I think you'd find all the answers you wanted.
How do you feel about this whole?
I feel like the biggest thing that you got to do. I don't know much about all that, man. I'm not even trying to, because either one way you're talking out your ass, the other way you're throwing that dude under the bus. I have no interest in either. But it has made for good memes. I'll say that much.
Yeah.
It's made for good memes. I have used picogram jokes at times, but I guess that's probably in the new Pokemon, right? The picogram. You got to catch that. I'm sure you do.
Yes.
But it's tough because it's always pulsing, right? It's
right.
Oh man, I thought I had it and then it disappeared. Just wait 6 more months. It'll come back around.
Well said.
But the thing about it is just whenever you want to enforce some sort of standards,
right?
One of the most important things you can do is you have to be the same across the board. That's the biggest thing. There has to be 100% consistency. And if there's a deviation from that, an adjustment that needs to be made, you need to be accountable for it and then make the adjustment, which may even be saying, based on further evidence from new tech or what have you, that we're now going to alter our process. And while that may not have benefited those prior that did not have the luxury of benefiting from this adjustment, it is just what it is, and you have to move on. But you have to be accountable, and you have to be consistent. If there's no consistency, if the accountability is taken away, if it's just let's punish, if we can't think of anything else, let's punish, that doesn't seem like a very good system.
So you got your release. You were granted your release.
Yeah.
You requested it in June, right?
Yes.
It is April.
Yes.
We're approaching a year
Yes.
since your release.
This
Why
is
haven't
true.
you fought?
Honestly, I've just been crazy busy. Especially, I've chatted with a myriad of different companies, and there's some interesting some interesting places that hopefully something could pan out. The world is a big place, and there's a lot of big companies out there. RCC is doing really great things in Ekaterinburg. They really want to establish themselves as a MMA hub within Russia. MFP has some of the best looking shows I've seen live, even though I know most viewers here would not be familiar with MFP, but they've brought me over there as a guest before, and it was amazing. KSW doing big shows. Obviously, there's Ryzen over in Japan. One is really making a stamp as a top league amongst every league in the world. And there's plenty of places that I could ply my wares if perhaps I wasn't running around doing so much damn stuff for my other fighters, calling Beat the Streets, producing professional wrestling events, hosting Muay Thai shows in Malaysia. It's kind of hard to fit it all in. In fact, I was also supposed to have a movie in Romania again, but funding fell out.
Oh man!
But I'm just stacking them up, man. I just keep going.
So, is there a chance you have fought your last fight?
I don't think so. I feel pretty good.
You're 41,
I'm
right?
still in the room, still training. I just had one of my students, Harry Gretsch, out from Australia for about 2 weeks, on the mats with him all the time. And there's some submission grappling stuff out there that could be a viable place to go and compete as well. But I'm not in a hurry to get into a ring. But at the same time, I'm not just gonna go fight somewhere just because. If I can get an opportunity to fight in a place that makes sense for a deal that makes sense,
right,
then I'll do it.
There aren't a lot of free agents with your resume, your accolades, have fought on the biggest stage.
They're usually a lot smarter than me, and so they manage to find a way to stop doing this.
Well, I'm just curious, has it ever gotten super close with someone in the last 10 or so months? Because I feel like you named all those promotions. I could see you in Ryzen. Yeah. I could see you in KSW. I could see you in One. I can see you in Bellator, your relationship with Scott Coker in the past. Has it gotten close? Are you close?
I would say we hadn't even put the condom on with some of these places yet.
Okay.
But that's okay. Maybe sometimes it just takes a little getting to know each other a bit better.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Perhaps I played the wrong music.
You didn't get them in the proper mood.
I guess not.
Any
overfed them, and now they're sleepy.
Any names in particular that you want to share that you've been talking to, or that?
I've chatted with. I actually spoke with Chatri when they did a press conference in Japan.
Yes.
Last year or early this year. I've chatted with a matchmaker over at KSW. I've spoken to people at RCC. MFP obviously know who I am. Ryzen and I are always in touch because of Alyssa Garcia, and they are obviously have Victor Henry on their short list, especially after beating Yuki Motoya and Otsuka, two guys that were both in their bantamweight Grand Prix. And Coker and Leland, they know each other, they chat, but so far,
nothing.
No one yet.
Okay. Is there a point where you say to yourself, okay, once this age hits, I'm done with this? I mean, you can't, or are you not the...
Well, that's true. And I think that all of us as athletes know that once we get to a certain point, we have to be fair in our assessments of where we're at mentally and physically, and you have to make a call. And the thing is, my approach has always been really, and especially as I've gotten older and I keep fielding the question, and that is, when are you going to stop? When are you going to retire? Are you retired? And my whole thing is, I'll stop when I'm done. And people go, well, that's kind of a vague answer, and I go, well, it is, but it's something that I'll know, and until I get to that point, I don't want to. The one thing I don't want to walk away and from this sport and do is leave something on the table, because once this is over, once your athletic window is closed, and there are still things I could do athletically other than fighting, even if I was to retire from MMA, but MMA has been a massive part of my life, and I've enjoyed every second of being a professional fighter. It's what I lived to do for over half of my life. But when that door is closed, you can't go back. Right? You can't. Once that retirement happens, once you're past that point, you can't just decide, well, okay, hell, I was pretty much, it's done.
But that happens all the time in the fight game.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
Okay.
I want to get to where I know I'm at that threshold, and then say, okay, this is where we have to move on from this and do something else, and divide our energies into places that are going to be more beneficial for me in the long run. I don't, so far, no CTE that I know of.
You worried about that?
No, I think that I already started off fairly stupid, so I'm usually hoping that I'll get that inverse, like the Fred Flintstone effect, that if I just keep getting punched, maybe I'll turn into somebody cooler or better. Like I might be, was it a race car driver? That happened to Fred once. Or I could turn into like a rock star. I just have to make sure that once that happens, I don't get hit in the head again.
Go back or worse.
Then you're just Fred Flintstone.
Okay. So right now you're not done.
No.
But you're not really actively talking to anyone.
We chat.
Okay.
We text. We send memes, little GIFs, emojis, but that's about it.
All right. You ever sit back and do you ever sit back and say, man, I miss the old days? When were you the happiest in this sport?
Oh,
the sport has changed a lot, right?
There is some truth to ignorance is bliss. And, I look at things from a perspective of, it would be easy to say, oh, I liked it when it was like this, but then I didn't like it when we were poor. Right. I like what fighting can open for an athlete. Now, I used to love the fact that by going to Japan, back when I did, I saw fighters that were doing Kentucky Fried Chicken ads and Gillette and what have you, and guys that were sponsored by Fila and Reebok, and I go, whoa, that's a big deal. Now we're reaching that mainstream audience, those people that probably have never seen us before, but now they might know who we are, and the money and the things, the other opportunities that can come from that. Now that exists to a degree here in the U.S. I mean, we're still not seen in always the best eye, but I think we've come a long way. Obviously, the pay has increased substantially, and the opportunity to create your own path. I mean, one of the best things Conor McGregor ever did was to go box, to give us more freedom to go out there and ply our trade and make our money based on what we pull in. So, to me, when Conor went out and boxed and made whatever ungodly amount of money that was, he made that money, and yet he's still getting a cut of what somebody else, well, it was Floyd because he's the promoter, but the promoter still made more, which to me, promoter's always going to make more. And they should make more because they're putting up all the overhead, they're taking all the risk. But at the same time, with that boxing model in that fight, all that money Conor made was money that the matchup, all the promoting that they did, brought in.
Right.
You made money off what you created. It wasn't just arbitrary. It wasn't just like, give me $1 billion and someone just had to figure out how to get it and hope that it worked out. No, the people bought the pay-per-views. They bought the merchandise. They bought the tickets. And all those cuts came in, and down that line, boom, the money landed in his hands. Now, not every fighter is going to be able to draw like Conor McGregor, but nonetheless, the thing I've always had most issue with wasn't the fighters at the bottom. In fact, I would say a lot of times a UFC or someone spends more money on those fighters on the bottom are making more than the UFC gets off of them. It's the guys, once you get to a certain point up towards the top, where now people do want to watch you fight. People could be buying pay-per-views to watch you fight, buying tickets. There's all publicity is built around you. Your name is on that above title, or your face is on that card. You're the driving force for it. Okay, give me a piece. That's where it gets really difficult.
Right.
That's where the fighters are getting shortchanged the most, in my opinion.
Do you think they'll ever change in this game?
Nobody changes unless they have to. So they could, but would? No. Because they're not unlike anybody else in that if you tell someone, well, you can just keep making more money, or you could, divvy some of that up based on a basically performance incentive. You're like, nah. If no one's forcing my hand, why would I? And that's honestly how most people are.
How do you feel about the state of the game right now?
I feel like it needs revivification and revitalization. It needs to be reassessed, and I'm not going to use another word that starts with a re, but it's hit a bit of a plateau. Really? And that is because, in my opinion, one, oversaturation. You see these arguments all the time.
Yeah.
The other thing is, though, in my opinion, all systems will be gamed eventually. You lay out the rules and you get those competitors going, that system will start to follow trends and patterns. And right now there's a trend and a pattern on how to game a system based on the unified rule set, based on the 10-point must scoring system, based on the 5-minute. I mean, it's all gamed at this point. A bunch of kickboxing with 4-ounce gloves, some control against the fence. A guy tries to get a takedown by the end of the round, 10-9, walks away if he isn't able to knock somebody out. Most of the intricacy of submission grappling is gone. It's pretty much a standard template. Guys go out there, they go hard for 5, go back in their corner, go hard for 5, go back to their corner, go hard for 5, go back to their corner. And yeah, sometimes people, knock each other out. Sometimes, people will say, oh, look at the statistics. The sleeper hold, the rear naked choke, is the #1 submission in MMA. Almost all those submissions come off somebody getting dinked, falling down, and then getting choked. This isn't double leg, pass, punch a bit, finagle, maybe go for a side choke, pick them up, pitch behind them. No, it's not. No, it's none of that. It's just a lot of slugging, and eventually somebody gets hurt, and then they choke them. And so, to be honest, I think that not only do the rules need to be re-examined, and some things need to be opened up into the rules, like knees to the head on the ground at the very least.
Yeah.
And I think that if you can up-kick a guy while he's standing, he should be able to kick down at you. But, I'll take at least the knees. And the rounds need to be made longer. The athletes are just way too good. They're in such great shape. It's hard to get any sort of strategy really rolling and to really sort of implement anything where it's like, I'm going to break this guy's his body down with low kicks or body shots. I'm going to wear him out. I'm going to lean on him. I'm going to use some weight up against the fence. I'm going to grind him on the floor more. And then as he's starting to wear out, I'm clipping him up. Then maybe I can set into a submission. No, there's none of that. So I think that the rounds need to be longer.
How long?
10-minute round, at least for the first.
Okay. And then
a 2-minute rest. And then a 5-minute round and a 2-minute rest and maybe a 5-minute round.
Okay. So this is a little different than Pride. I thought you were going to go Pride, but this is different.
Well, that's the same as Pride. Pride was 10-5-5.
Was it 10-5? I thought it was 10-5.
10-5, unless I guess it's championship match.
Right. I was talking about standing.
Yeah. But at least I think you need at least a minimum of a 10-minute first round now. And I think you really need to get rid of the 10-point must system. I think that fighters are really. I hate it too. I understand why it exists.
It's a boxing model.
It's a boxing model, and when MMA was coming into its prominence as a new potential mainstream sport,
right?
What did they have to go off of? Boxing. Where were they going to get? What commissions were they going to be working with? Pretty much boxing commissions. I know they're called athletic commissions, but they're really just dealing with boxing. What were you going to do as far as all these judges and referees? Well, they're all probably going to be coming from boxing. So we want to make sure that they can transition as easy as possible. And, we had Doc Hamilton had an idea of a half point.
Yes.
And,
a half point?
I don't, because I think it just makes things more convoluted, because the trouble is fudging around with these numbers. I mean, as it is, you could give a guy a 10-10 round, but no one ever will do it.
Right.
And I see a lot of times in these fights where I've seen a lot of fights where, to me, it was like 10-10, 10-10, 10-9. Like a guy literally won by 1 point. It was that tight. But they're always going to these split decisions. And it's got to the point where you'll see somebody on Twitter, the bastion of the genius of the human mind, the gestalt entity of all collected
of humanity.
Intellect. And which, says something because I'm on it too. And you'll see a guy go, that was such a close fight. That should have been a split decision. You're like, whoa.
Yeah.
That's not how that works.
That's not how that
That is not how that, Inigo Montoya pops up. You were saying that word. Does not mean what you, yeah.
That drives me nuts.
So to me, I really do think, and I understand also the idea of the 10-point must system was to come around and be like, hey, you can't fudge this fight, and all of a sudden just, change it to some guy at the last second because, you're crooked.
Right.
And there was some of that too, like this accountability by seeing your scores in between every round.
Right.
Maybe you could have an informal 10-point of some sort, or maybe an informal pointed scoring system where they're collecting your tickets in between round, but ultimately you're given to one card at the end, and it would just be like Pride or Pancrase or how it used to be, just like 3-0 or 2-1 or what have you. And hell, when Victor won his title in Deep over Montoya, they have 5 judges for title fights.
Oh, wow.
5 judges. Wow. And he won by having one go for him, and it was 2 draws, and they had to pick a guy. 2 draws to Montoya, 2 draws to Victor, 1 unanimous to Victor.
Whoa.
So, yeah, by the way, 5 judges, I almost had a heart attack.
Yeah.
I almost had an aneurysm right there. I was like, no, there's more?
Only for title fights, though.
Yeah, it was nuts. But that was a new one for me.
That's fascinating.
But at the same time, I just think that 10-point must system just hasn't done MMA that many favors.
No. What do you think of a point system in the sense that, like, you'll get a point for a takedown, you'll get a point for a guard pass, like almost like
I think
wrestling style. And then you have a scoreboard, and people could follow along.
I think that, on paper, you could make a good argument for it, but I just...
Too radical?
Well, it is pretty radical, dude.
Yeah.
But... it came in here drinking a Mountain Dew on a BMX right when you said it. The argument there on implementing that is that you're going to need people that are very competent and skilled at what they're looking at. And let's be honest.
Yeah.
There are Adelaide birds out there.
Yeah.
And they go off, they they migrate, but they always seem to come back and drop a pile of turd decision right on your front doorstep.
Right.
And no one ever does anything about it. So unless you can be sure that there's going to be introspection into the systems, like Pancrase, one thing that I liked that they did is after every single fight card, they had a judges meeting. The head judge sat them down. They talked to everybody about why they made the decisions they did and went over all the calls that night. And
accountability.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, all systems need renewal, and all systems need you to investigate them to always make sure that they're running the right way, because given anything, it'll go to entropy.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. It's funny, we were just talking about this a couple weeks ago
Entropy?
with Chael. No, not entropy, the point system and how it needs to be changed. But you didn't ask my initial question. You answered my initial question, which was, when were you the happiest? Is there a time where you look back?
I could think of a few moments. They're probably not really good for. They're probably not really made for. Television.
In your MMA career.
Oh. Actually, I really did like the Wild West days of the feel of it, Tales of High Adventure, and traveling, to Hyperborea and fighting some behemoth in a pit somewhere. I liked that. I loved it. I loved the fact that everything was sort of the Wild West, and it was just dudes that just wanted to go out there and beat the hell out of another dude, and that's all that mattered. And we didn't expect much fame in terms of how you might look at it now. With being on shows like this and ESPN and the whole 9 yards. Instead, it was more like a kind of notoriety amongst peers and other hard individuals. Like, okay, yeah, don't mess with that dude. I watched him fight this guy. I heard he just took out this other dude, or he just fought 55 minutes with, bare knuckles and headbutts and all this blah, blah, blah. I mean, there's a certain kind of cred that goes deep into a person's being, where you acknowledge that in a different way. It's not like, oh, I just saw him flapping his yap on a TV and everybody thinks he's great. But no, man, that guy is he's in there. He's doing it. He's just fighting guys, and he just steps in, win or lose or draw.
I don't know if you heard young Bryce Mitchell earlier, but he was talking about the shorts and how he wants his own camo shorts.
Okay.
Because that means a lot to him.
What kind of camo? Does he want real tree? Is he more like...
Well, he's actually very particular about his camo.
I bet he is. I bet he's got a very particular type of camo
he's
that he wants.
He's very Arkansas.
Does he want to be sponsored by Copenhagen or Skoll?
You know what? I didn't ask.
I don't know, guys. Reach out there to Bryce. The chances that he choose pretty high.
But here's the thing. It made me think of you because
okay.
I feel very passionate about this topic, about how the fight game is all about personality and showmanship and the walkout, right? And he was talking about that. This is a young kid. I mean, he's probably in his his early 20s. And he's talking about, Iceman's shorts and Anderson Silva's black and yellow and Rich Franklin's pink and black and that sort of thing. And like I honestly don't like to say it because I feel like people think I'm just harping on it when I say it, but it really does bother me that everyone looks the same.
I agree. That's
the thing that drew me to this sport, right? We're the characters.
We are characters. Don't get this twisted. We are some weird, eccentric individuals just by nature of wanting to go out there and fight each other and be buddies about it even afterwards.
Yeah. It's wild.
Or prior. I mean, it's a strange deal, but I am a big proponent of the individuality of the athlete, and that's how. I tell all my fighters, look, if anybody can fight, there's a lot of fighters out there. There's plenty of people that'll go out and sell their souls to just, here I'm just some fighter dude or gal on some show, what have you. And if it's not you, it'll be someone else. But the thing is, when you put your own personal spin on it and you make it you 100%, then you're offering something that they can't buy anywhere else. And when they want it, there's only one place they can get it from. Walmart.
Right.
Probably at substantially discounted prices.
Right.
Yeah. It makes everybody happy.
Right. You had me there, and then you went went left. Josh, Bloodsport, Jersey City. I'd plug it more, but the tickets are sold out, you
TV.
said?
Yeah, it's on Fight TV. I've just been running like a madman.
And then
hey, hold on.
What is this?
I just have to take care of something real quick because I've been so damn busy.
What?
Yeah, I got this thing in the mail the other day. I think it's from a Nigerian prince, and I don't know about you.
Hello.
But
what is that?
He says he's gonna send like $15 million.
Josh is signing something.
Yeah.
I have no idea what this is.
What is it's the
April 1st.
Yeah.
Is this an April Fool's joke?
Would I joke about such a thing?
What is that? Can I read that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. This is incredible. What? We just did a 45-minute.
Notice I didn't put my social security number on there.
Yes.
I'm not that dumb.
Well, right here it says Bellator Sport Worldwide, Scott Coker. March 31st, so that was yesterday, 2019. There's your signature.
Yeah.
It's right here. But this is like half in witness where the parties.
Do you want to sign it too?
To executed this Oh, you have the rest of the Is this your Bellator contract? Have you signed with Bellator right here on the show?
I think I just might have done that. Yeah.
What? Why didn't you say this earlier? What happened?
I was busy. I had all this other stuff to plug.
But
I wanted to talk about Beat the Streets and how they're bringing wrestling to all the underprivileged kids. Yeah.
Mazel tov.
Well, hi.
Wow, and I had nothing to do with it.
Yes.
Wait a second. I needed some time to process. This is only like the last page of a 16-page contract.
Right.
Can I read the whole thing on the air? No, probably not. I don't think you want that. Wait.
Yeah, confidentiality agreements.
Okay, she wants it back.
Be damned.
I don't want to get you in trouble. But wait, you just signed with Bellator on the air.
I just signed with Bellator on your show.
Wow. This is incredible.
The nose knows a lot, but he didn't know this.
To fight?
Yeah.
Beginning when?
Well, we don't have anything exactly hammered out yet, but, I do love my tea and crumpets.
London. June 22nd, they have an event.
They do, I hear.
Okay.
Yeah, I hear that's the thing. That's all the rage over there.
Okay. They have a press conference tomorrow. I just got an email about that.
Well, they might want to include me in on that. I'm not. I am a fan of. There's like Hawksmoor's, Seven Dials. Oh, it's a great steak restaurant in Seven Dials in London.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wait a second, Josh. I just did an interview with you, and you were talking about KSW and this promotion.
That was all true.
And you were clearly this didn't just happen right now, unless Leland struck this deal while you were on the air and gave it to Nikki. This is Nikki. Hello, Nikki. What just
Leland
happened?
is an incredible manager, so I wouldn't put it past him.
Best, if not the best.
Yes.
Wow. How many fights?
I don't know exactly off the top of my head.
I was asking you if you're going to fight again. All this stuff.
Yeah. Turns out I am.
This is incredible. Heavyweight?
Man.
Light heavyweight?
Yeah. Whoo.
Ryan Bader. Are you going to fight Bader, the champ?
I'd love to fight Bader, but we'll see what we can get first. Either way, there's a lot of tender morsels over there in Bellator that I could sink my teeth into.
Holy smokes. I've never had someone sign a contract on the air before. That was legit. Like, you're going to fax that back? You're going to put your social security after?
I will. when it's not in front of everybody on the internet so that they can go and ruin my life.
Well, that was very savvy of
like
you.
Dragon Lord for all you.
How long did this take?
Goobers. A minute, but we work fast. And here's the thing. One of the things I've always said to folks, not that it was that many people that this conversation might come about, but when it comes to negotiations or any of these things with fight groups, often, look, when they want something, they'll come. They're not going to screw around. They're not going to play with this and play with that. When it's needed by them, they'll come for it. And so, I did talk to all those groups, and I think all those groups are fantastic. I have great relationships with them. I hope to work with them in some way, whatever is capable, despite this. And I've had a great time bringing my athletes to these organizations like RCC and MFP over in Russia. I love those guys. They're fantastic. They've treated us fantastically well, and they've run a really great show. The guys running KSW run a great show. Chatri, fantastic dude, and a good friend of mine.
Bellator.
I did.
Why? Why'd you pick
Scott and I have a long history.
Yes. You met with him personally?
I did not meet with him personally over this one.
Okay.
And it's on U.S. television.
Yes. And
it's still an international fight league.
Yes.
So the ability for me to exploit this opportunity into even bigger opportunities, other avenues, exists within this, and also vice versa. They can exploit me more. And look, talked about the individuality of the fighter. In Bellator, I can do that. I can wear the shorts that I want to wear. I can have the sponsors on those shorts that I would like to have. Being an avid whiskey drinker like myself, perhaps, I put on a Maker's Mark logo or Buffalo Trace or who knows what. Redemption. I mean, there's a whole lot of there's a lot of ways for me to destroy my liver.
Wow.
So I can use all these opportunities. Plus, I can do things like I could have Beat the Streets LA in the ring with me on a banner or something like that, helping promote their message of getting wrestling out there to anyone and everyone. I can have Game Changer Wrestling involved in what I'm doing in some capacity. I don't know. The thing is, there's a lot of opportunity with something like this. There's great athletes, and I get to screw around with goofballs like Matt Mitrione and Chael, and get to see Fedor. Hopefully, I can fight Fedor.
You want that one still?
Yeah, just simply because I love the man, and I would just, it would be great to just have it done for us to get in the ring.
For all.
Yeah.
My takeaway from today was Josh Barnett is probably done. He doesn't want to say he's done. He's probably done. And now you just signed a multi-fight deal, right?
Yeah.
Multi-fight?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, look.
You totally
I'm
swerved.
always
that's an old school swerve. Dusty Rhodes would be proud of this swerve.
He's just a son of a plumber, man. But you've said it before. I've heard you tell Leland and others that interviewing me, you never know what's going to happen.
Yes.
That of all the people, I will come up there, you'll have one idea, and all of a sudden you're talking about fighting in a hermetically sealed dome on Mars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is not quite that, but
no,
close.
it has some similarities.
Close.
But yeah.
Wow.
Close.
That is. And so you think maybe June?
it's a possibility. June is a good, strong possibility.
Who are we talking about?
I don't know,
I
man.
think he's shaking her head over there. She doesn't want me to ask this question anymore.
I don't really know
you
who
just
it could
swerved me.
be.
I'm going to ask all the questions.
I know, and I want you to sit there, and I want you to think about all of this, to run your mind through whatever could happen and create all these scenarios. And I want everybody out there, which is my camera. I want everybody out there to also rack your brains over this, argue amongst each other, praise me, insult me, whatever. Get it spinning, and we'll see what comes of it. And the fact is, everyone's going to enjoy.
Wow.
Thinking
Ryan
about
Bader,
what that's
Josh
gonna
Barnett,
be.
sign me up for that. I like that.
We both
He's a
have
light
beef.
heavyweight. He shouldn't be.
I
Both have
agree,
beef.
but
He
you
had
know
beef
what?
with.
He did it, right?
Did it,
He went
yeah,
out
yeah.
there and
No, I'm kidding.
he put
I
it
have a lot of
together,
respect.
and I love the fact that Bader was a guy that's like, yeah, I'll jump in, and he had a lot less to lose than most of them.
Right.
In some way, being a 205 pounder, he always had an out. He always like, oh, I lost this fight, but it was a heavyweight. But instead, he won the whole thing.
Who do you both have beef with?
We don't have I said we both have last names that start with B.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah,
That's the selling point?
I think we both like beef.
Yeah.
I don't know where you can go with that. Hawksmoor 7 Dial, I guess.
Once a pro wrestler, always a pro wrestler.
You know what?
I believe in the business.
That's why I've always tried to have pro wrestling listed as my style when I go to the ring.
That's right. And you said earlier, maybe this, in hindsight, this was a clue. You said you still believe in kayfabe.
Of course I do.
Kayfabe me.
I did.
Wow.
But here's the other thing. It's not just
I'm still
about
trying to
just about
process.
swerving you. It's also about bringing the hottest, most juiciest dirt
Yes.
straight to you,
I appreciate that.
for you,
Always.
for my manager.
Thank you. Yes. I appreciate
Yeah.
that.
All the way from Mother Russia.
You came all the way.
Soviet Union.
This means a lot to me. See what's happening. I just got a text from Scott Coker,
Oh yeah.
and he said, "You get all the breaking news, sometimes live. Ha ha ha. You guys all worked me. This is amazing. You know what? I like it. In life, you only get a few surprises, right?
We try to,
fun not to know
we're
things.
like a random proctology exam in an
Yes.
alley. Very surprising.
Well, this is amazing. Wow. What more can I say? I think we're good. So we'll find out soon.
Yeah, I hope so, because that will help me to figure out exactly what game plan I'm going to employ besides trying to beat the ever
able to
living.
actually fight? Like, do you have enough time in your schedule with all these other
Yeah, I've
things?
been training quite a bit. I was.
Because you do look great,
well, thank you.
by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, I've been cutting back on my carbs.
By the way, I know that everyone is going to say this is April Fool's. This is not April Fool's,
No,
right?
no, I
Okay,
absolutely
it's not.
detest April Fools. I think it's a
I detest it
pointless and
That was a real
idiotic
contract.
holiday. Yes, that was a real contract.
100%.
I don't play, man. I am not false metal.
I hate April Fools from a news I don't like the distrust that it breeds. You should not play with people like that. But I think the only way that we can totally prove that this is not April Fools is if you do write your social security on there and show it to the world.
Man, I'm not doxing myself here.
Wow. Well,
Although, I think
congratulations.
I have the advantage that if I was doxed, people would be like, I don't want to go there. Why do I want to see him?
Right.
Yeah. The people always go, if they ask, like, oh, are you Josh Barnett? Like, yeah. Nobody else wants a job.
Congratulations.
Except for Bellator, I guess.
Yes. Well done. Thank you for doing this. I really appreciate it. And thank you for doing that, what you just did. Thank
My
you
pleasure.
as well. Wow. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Leland. I'm not done. I just feel like saying thank you to everyone because that was something else. I don't really know what to do at this point. I appreciate it. Good luck Thursday.
Thank you very much.
I'll be
We have people are like, oh, you're so excited. You sold it out. You did this. And you did that. And I'm like, no. And they go, what do you mean no? And I go, a lot of work to be done. We've got to go out there. We got to perform. And I really do believe that we have the formula to create just a killer event this Thursday at that White Eagle Hall. I think that not only will we surpass anybody's expectations from the last Bloodsport by Game Changer Wrestling, but I want to walk away with people going, WrestleMania was good. It was really good. That Bloodsport, boy, that really did something, man. That really set something on fire. And maybe we will set something on fire.
No,
probably,
we won't.
probably Andy Williams. We'll probably set him on fire.
I
He's
will be
flammable.
watching from home.
Thank you very much.
And thank you, and thanks to your team, and congratulations, and keep us posted on your debut. You're back.
Will do.
Josh Barnett is back, everyone. He is back. I thought he was done. Now he's back. Look, that's you. Thursday, April 4th. You see, we give you the plug. Josh Barnett. Wow. I love this, man. Thank you for doing that. All right, we'll see you next time. There he is, Josh Barnett, the War Master himself, has just announced on this program, live and in living color, that he has signed with Bellator MMA. I had no idea that was going to happen. I had no idea that was in the works, but it just happened. Live on the air, you saw it, and that was not an April Fool's prank. I told you at the beginning of the show, I hate April Fools. That really just happened. So today on the program, we've had someone get a haircut for the first time on the show live. That was Tyron Woodley. And now we've had someone sign a contract and break fight news for the first time live on the air and in studio. Holy smokes. That was pretty cool. Thanks. So stay tuned for that. Bellator, as I told you at the top, is going to London on June 22nd. Rafael Lovato, Gegard Mousasi. He seemed to hint something about his involvement on that card. We'll see if that comes to fruition. All right, one more guest to go. Let us not keep him waiting any longer. He is the GOAT, the Russian Hammer, Artem Lobov, and he's back in action this weekend for Bare Knuckle FC, and I think he just landed in New York City. Artem, are you there?
Hey, I am here. Thank you very much for having me on the show again. I love being here.
As always.
I actually going to tell you something. You're right, I just landed, and I actually booked a shitty hotel beside the airport just so I can go on Skype and video you, but the connection here is not great. So now I have this room for no reason because I'm due to go to my actual hotel, which is on Times Square in a bit. So I'm here now on the phone talking to you from some shitty little hotel room.
Are you serious? You really did that?
Oh, yeah. I wanted to see your face. I missed you.
And what happened? And the Skype is just no good? The connection?
I don't know. Yeah, they're saying that the sound is not good or something like that, so it has to be a phone, but no problem. We'll work with it.
Oh, my gosh. Well, I really appreciate you doing that, Artem. You're a class act, my man. Thank you so much for that. And so welcome. I hope the flight was okay. I haven't talked, the last time I spoke to you, you were a free agent, and you were talking about, talks with other promotion, but in the end, you went to Bare Knuckle FC. Why did you choose them?
Yes, I did go with them, and I would be lying if I said that money wasn't one of the main reasons for it. I mean, let's be honest, we're prize fighters. We fight for money. Our success is determined by the size of our purses. Let's be honest, that's the way it works. And Bare Knuckle FC had the best deal on the table by a long shot, and here I am. And also another thing is, they were pretty sound with their contract. They allow me to fight elsewhere if I choose to do so, as long as it doesn't interfere with the schedule. I can still take MMA fights. So why not? It was a great contract. So here I am.
Okay. So did you have any reservations about the fact that this isn't MMA? I know you said you wanted to do kickboxing, you wanted to do boxing, but this is bare knuckle fighting. Do you have any experience in that?
Well, I mean, I've never fought bare knuckle, of course, but if you look at MMA, the gloves are really small, so it's very similar to bare knuckle. And boxing has been something that I always wanted to try. About 4 or 5 years ago, I almost got my professional boxing license, but at the time, I was told that I wouldn't be able to compete in MMA, so that was a deal breaker. But now things have changed, and here I am finally in the boxing ring.
Now, when you train for this fight, you're not training bare knuckle, right?
No, not at all. So you couldn't really do that because the sparring, you just end up, cut up. So I just took the classical boxing approach. And Ireland is a perfect spot for that. There's so many high-level boxers around there for sparring, and that's what I did. My opinion is if you want to be a good dancer, you have to dance a lot, and if you want to be a good boxer, you have to box a lot. So that's exactly what I did. I just went out there, met the best boxers I could find, and sparred them over and over and over again, and I'm more than ready right now.
And earlier, I think I was a little shaken up over the Barnett news that we had just here. Josh Barnett just signed a deal on the air on our show, so I was a little thrown off by that. But your debut is April 20th against Jason Knight in Biloxi, Mississippi, correct?
It's April 6th, so it's just this weekend.
Oh, it is this weekend. Okay, because I said this weekend earlier, but then I was looking at the press release.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, I was right. All right, sorry, because we had the wrong information. That's what I thought, but I started to doubt myself, Artem. It is this weekend in Biloxi. So why did you come to New York? You're coming to do some media, and then you're going to Mississippi?
Yeah, obviously, New York. This is where the business happens, And now that I'm in this new promotion, I'm truly in the business, I'm co-promoting basically, I'm the main event. I'm helping pull in the TV deals and all sorts. We're taking this thing on the biggest stage. It's going to be live on TV all across the world. So I look forward to this. And yes, I'm here to do some media in New York.
And are you planning, at least for now, I know you said that they're allowing you to do other stuff, to go to other promotions, but you did sign a multi-fight deal with them. Are you planning, at least for now, to focus on this, or would you still like to sign with other people right away?
It's no secret that I love fighting. To me, it's I just want to stay busy all the time. I truly do love the fight game. So it wouldn't really interfere with me. And in terms of promoters, in terms of the risk, of me getting injured or anything, you don't have to worry about that as a promoter, because when I say that I will show up, I always show up. I've never pulled out of a fight once. So it's not something to worry about. So I am definitely hoping to sign an MMA deal. We'll see how it goes. Obviously I have this fight in front of me now, April 6th, and I'm really looking forward to Paulie Malignaggi fight later in the year. But we'll see. Maybe MMA as well. Who knows?
Okay, so that was actually my next question. Bare Knuckle FC announced recently that they did sign Paulie Malignaggi, who, of course, trained with you and your team for the McGregor-Mayweather fight. He sparred with Conor. We all know the story there. And it sounded like the plan was, if you beat Jason Knight this weekend, April 6th, that you will fight Paulie June 20th, I heard. Is that accurate?
Look, I'm fighting Paulie regardless. It's happening. I'm fighting him. I'm going to destroy Jason Knight, and the fight with Paulie is happening. Many people tell me, you can't look past this guy, But what do you mean you can't look past him? Of course you have to plan for the future. You have to. If you don't do that, you end up with a Brexit situation, and you go from Theresa May to Theresa Maybe to Theresa not a chance. So, yes, I am fighting Paulie Malignaggi later in the year.
Okay, wow. So regardless of what happens this weekend, the plan is, will it be June 20th?
What do you mean regardless? I am smoking Jason Knight. Honest to God, one round I give him. This is boxing now. This is no longer MMA. You've never even seen me fight with no takedowns. What about now when I don't have to worry about the grappling and the wrestling anymore, and I can fully showcase my true potential? We already know I've got a granite chin. I've been eating head kicks and not a bar on me. Everybody knows I've got the power in my hands. Now it's time to showcase all that on the biggest stage. And, I cannot wait. Honest to God, I've been dying to show my boxing skills for such a long time, so I just cannot wait to burst through Jason Knight and then finally get my hands on Paulie Malignaggi.
Okay, and what does the Paulie fight mean to you? Because, it got very personal there, and, they almost came to blows, Conor and him. Do you feel like you're doing this for, did you have a problem with Paulie too while he was in the camp, or are you doing this for your friend? What does that fight signify to you?
Just Paulie, he was just a dirty guy. What he did, he was invited, he was treated with respect, he was invited into a camp, he was complaining and moaning from the start. He was put up in a house with all the sparring partners. And to be honest, he was even offered a different hotel if he wanted to, but he said, no, it's okay, I'll stay with them. So he stayed with them. He was part of the family, basically. And for him to start going back to Mayweather, telling him all the secrets and this and that, and just behave the way he did, to him it was all about the payday. It was all about being in the spotlight. He was forgotten. Nobody was talking to him anymore. That was his chance to get back into it. And to me, I don't like that sort of behavior. So I feel he needs punishing, and I'm the guy to do that.
I love it. What about in Ireland? Because I know that there's a lot of politics as far as fighting and MMA in particular in Ireland. How was the announcement that you had signed with Bare Knuckle FC? How was that met in Ireland? Did you get a lot of blowback for that?
Not at all. People absolutely loved it. That's the thing. People love to watch my fights. People love exciting fights. Have a look at the UFC and look who the stars are. It's always been the strikers. For most part, it's the guys that are exciting guys, that bring the pain, that bring the blood, that bring the real fights. So that's what people want. People want to see that. So it was met with nothing but applause, and it was a great news for me, and people are very excited to watch me fight Bare Knuckle.
Will you have your typical SBG mates in your corner for this fight? John Kavanagh, Owen Roddy. Will the same people be cornering you in this fight?
No, actually, this time is going, well, one of the same year, Richard Smolin, he's a guy that's often in my corner. He's coming with me, to help me with the weight cut and as such. But in my corner is going to be Dave Jones. He is our boxing coach from SBG. He was the boxing coach when I first started in Straight Bus Gym about 10 years ago. He kind of was always in the background. People don't really know him that well, but he was and is a boxing coach at SBG. So I thought if I'm going to box, I need a boxing coach. And John knows that. He's well aware of that. He recommended that himself. He's overlooking my training as always. Him and Owen Roddy will always be my coaches, and I'm thankful to these guys till the day I die. But Dave Jones is more of a boxing coach than them, and he's a better fit for this particular fight. So he is going to be in my corner.
I'd be remiss if I don't ask you about your friend Conor McGregor, Artem. He announced his retirement last week, and a lot of people don't believe that he will remain retired. Do you believe that he will remain retired? And could you tell us, based on what you know, why he decided to retire when he did?
I don't actually know much info on that, but one thing I do know, I know that Conor absolutely loves the fight game. He truly loves it. And look, I always say this, that if 99% of people in the UFC would have been gone if they had made $100 million, they just wouldn't be there anymore. And he is still there. Why? Because he loves the fight game. He loves fighting. So I know he's got something special in store for us. That's for sure.
Do you think he'll fight again?
I think so. He will definitely put away a few more guys. Definitely. I just know him. I know he loves this game. He loves the fight game. This is his. It's not just a job to him. This is him. He is the fight game.
Do you feel like he doesn't get the respect that he deserves, even on top of everything that he has received? Like, it seems like he's still at odds with the UFC. That for some reason they can't come to terms. Like, there's this tug and pull that he's sort of, he's questioning the authorities and the institution that is the UFC, and they want to show that they're the alpha males in this relationship. Like, it's a very clear thing that's going on in front of all of us. Why does it have to be this way is my question. Like the top draw, the top star should always be treated a little differently, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But the thing is, it's a business. They realize they, of course, are fighting for every percentage there, because when it comes down to Conor's fights, even 1%, that means millions and millions and millions. But in my eyes, of course, he deserves a percentage of the UFC. I mean, look at his last pay-per-view was $2.5 million. And the same year, there was a pay-per-view card with 80,000 pay-per-views sold. I mean, that for itself, that speaks for itself.
Right.
He is the reason why the company was sold for $4 billion. So why shouldn't he get a piece of that? And for anybody, they're saying, then everybody's going to ask for that. No, they won't, because, you tell them, well, show me your number, show me what they bring in. You get a piece of the pie that you bring in. That's fair, If you arrive with a bag of peanuts, then you can't expect to eat a steak. But if you are killing a whole deer like Conor is, then of course you deserve a nice, juicy piece of steak. And he should get it.
Did you train with him at all for this fight?
For this fight, no. He was in the States for most of the camp, so I didn't really get a chance to train with him for this camp. But, I had some great spars as well in Ireland. Some really, really high-level boxers, Luke Keeler, one of them, he just won a European title over the weekend. Steve Ormond, Victor Rabbi just defended his Irish title just there as well over the weekend. I'm sparring active, competitive boxers who are on the way up, you know what I mean, and I'm holding my own. So I'm more than ready for this fight.
What weight will this fight be contested at, Artem?
It's going to be at 145 pounds.
Okay. And so bare knuckle thus far, you're happy with them? They're treating you well? You feel the love from them?
Absolutely, yeah. So far, it's been nothing but love. And also, I'd be lying if I didn't say it's great. When you're in the UFC, especially a guy like me, I'm not the top guy. You know what I mean? So I'm just one of the guys. Whereas when I'm in this promotion, I am the top guy. I am a star. And you see it with the treatment and all. You get treated differently. It's 5-star hotels, it's business class flights, and all this. And listen, I come from Soviet Union. I can walk to my fights and I can sleep on the street, no problem. But it's still nice to get all this. It makes me feel good. It's nice to be pampered, and I feel it's going to show in my performance on Saturday night.
And so at this point, you're going to this card, and you're the star, and it's nice. Like I feel like this is almost everything that you've wanted in your career, right? Like you have always felt that you should be treated like a star. You've always felt like you should be treated like the top dog. It finally feels like you are getting that respect that you have always asked for. Does that feel accurate?
Absolutely. I mean, look, don't get me wrong. I mean, I don't want to say that UFC didn't treat me well. They absolutely treated me well, and I fought for all kinds of organizations out there, and I can tell you this, honestly, they're the best organization to fight for. When from the moment you sign with them, you're just part of this huge machine that they are, and everything is on time, everything is organized, everything is perfect. You just feel looked after. That is true. I would be lying if I didn't say that. But at the same time, it is nice to be flying business class. It is nice to be, staying in the nicest hotels and all this. It is nice.
I'd imagine this is your bare knuckle debut, but I'd imagine you've been in a few scraps in your day, correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So fighting bare knuckle isn't really like a foreign thing to you, right?
Not at all. And like I said, after the UFC gloves, you're well used to that. It's more or less the same. I'm well used to that. It's nothing to me. To be honest, any kinds of fighting. Once there's a real fight, I'm there. Sign me up.
And what about Zubaira? Did you try to get him signed to this promotion as well to have this fight? I know you said you still want that fight. Where does that stand?
Well, Zubaira, I believe, is signed to UFC, right? I mean, he's suspended and he is signed to them, so he's not a free agent. If he was a free agent, I would absolutely love to fight him at bare knuckle. Fight me in bare knuckle. Obviously, wrestling is his strong point, so he probably wanted that in MMA fight, which is fine. I'm more than happy to do it in MMA, but of course, bare knuckle, Zubaira and bare knuckle, that would be just a gift.
But before you're done, you still want that fight, correct?
Absolutely. Like I said, I don't just say words for no reason. When I said it back then, I mean it. That fight has to happen. If that fight doesn't happen, it's not because of me. If that fight doesn't happen, it's because he didn't want it. Because I'm ready for that fight.
So it's Bare Knuckle FC 5. It goes down this Saturday, April 6th in Biloxi, Mississippi, the Mississippi Coast Coliseum. You can watch it on Fight TV or bareknuckle.tv, and it is headlined by the great Artem Lobov against Jason Knight. Also, Chris Lieben, Chase Sherman on the card. This is big time stuff, Artem. Can I just say I'm a little worried. The bare knuckle makes me worried. I get it's very gruesome. I don't know if I can handle such violence.
Yeah, but look, the guy that I'm fighting, man, it's Jason fucking Knight, man. The guy used to hold other man with his leg close to his chest, listening to his heartbeat. I mean, how can you be worried for me when I'm fighting this guy?
All right,
come on now. You should be worried for him, not for me.
Okay, so the prediction is first round.
Honest to God, the only reason I feel that he might make it out of the first round is because the round's only 2 minutes long. Because they just want action. So just because it's only 2 minutes long, he might be able to run away or whatever and survive somehow. But honest to God, I feel first round KO. Night, Jason, April 6th.
Well, and how many rounds total?
It's 5 rounds.
5 rounds. Okay. All right. That is this Saturday. Artem, I honestly feel very guilty that we couldn't get the Skype situation worked out. Sometimes in these hotels it's not great, but I really appreciate you going the extra mile and doing that. That means the world. Thank you so much, especially after a long flight from Dublin. So I want to wish you the best. I want to thank you again for making time for us. Good luck this Saturday, April 6th. Jason Knight, your Bare Knuckle FC debut. We will be watching. We will be supporting. I'm looking forward to it. Best of luck to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much, Ariel.
All right, there he is, the one and only Artem Lobov, the Russian Hammer, making his Bare Knuckle FC debut this Saturday in Mississippi, Biloxi, to be exact. If you are in Biloxi, not often you get to see a goat. Go out and support Artem Lobov. One last thing before I go, some breaking news. Ruslan Magomedov has been served a lifetime suspension from the USADA anti-doping agency. The United States Anti-Doping Agency announced on Monday that Ruslan, has failed now 3 times, 3 anti-doping violations since September of 2016. That's 3 strikes, and you're out. So he is done. He is out. Honestly, I'm still having a hard time digesting the whole contract signing thing that just happened here. we are also out of time, so I'll have more time to digest that as the night goes on. For now, though, we shall say goodbye. What a day it has been. Thank you for watching. I mean, that was pretty cool, right? We actually had someone like sign a contract on the air. That was like our version of the LeBron James decision. Except we weren't in a boys and girls club and he wasn't taking his talents to South Beach, taking it to Bellator. You get my point. Anyway, a fun show in the books. Thanks to all our guests. And thanks to all of you. And thanks to everyone who has been downloading, supporting. If you want to keep supporting, rate, subscribe, review, download. That's on iTunes. Download on the app. Listen on the app. YouTube. YouTube.com/ESPN MMA. Twitter.com/ESPN MMA. All those places. We appreciate all the support. Thank you very much to Michelle Waterson. Congrats on the win. Thank you very much to Josh Emmett. Congrats to him. Thank you very much to Ben Askren. Good luck with the whole Masvidal thing. Thank you very much to Tyron Woodley. The hair was on point. Thank you very much to Holly Holm. Good luck to her. Thank you very much to Bryce Mitchell, and congrats on the new shorts. Also, congrats to Josh Barnett on signing with Bellator live on the air. And again, thank you very much to Artem Lobov. Good luck this weekend in Mississippi. Back next week, same time and place. Until then, I say peace.